Uh, him. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. So join Jovan and get your critical cap on. 'Cause there's a Bradley's baddie inside of me and you.
Hey, what's up? It's Jovan from Let's Debate It Out. Today we're joined by Dalton for a theism stream. Everybody give a big shout out to Dalton, the Bible guy.
The one and only Bible guy. Absolutely.
The one and
How you
only
doing
Bible
today?
guy. I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I'm ready for some theists to give us a call, guys. 219-327-8005. Specifically, I'd like to talk to Christians. They're the theists I like to talk to the most. But I will talk to any theist, but would prefer a Christian. Hey, before we get too far into it, we have a birthday. So Lakes, here's your birthday shout out.
You could be a birthday baddie too. A very happy baddie birthday to you.
Yeah, Let's Debate It Out, the best gaming channel on YouTube. Hey, if I start a gaming channel, will people actually watch it? I want to play games, but I don't know that y'all care about me playing video games.
I had the same experience. Like, people loved watching debate stuff, but as soon as I turn on anything else that's not me debating, people just seem to drop right off.
Real. Mother of Cain, Manic Marcy, and the Cynical One were the first ones in Twitch chat today. Also, Chip Pelter, thank you for subscribing with Amazon Prime. USC Trojan 51, thank you for subscribing with Tier 1. And Disturbed Sims, thank you for subscribing with Prime over on Twitch. Make sure you guys hit those Twitch Primes, depending on the game. I tend to play scary games. I like being spooked.
I'm too much of a wuss.
We're supposed to play a game tonight. We're supposed to have game time tonight. I haven't decided on the game yet, but it's probably going to be a spooky, scary one.
Do you have a favorite spooky, scary game, Jovan?
A favorite?
Yeah.
Probably PT. I don't think I've ever been as scared as I was when PT first came out. PT was that jump off in terms of straight fear.
What is PT?
You've never heard of PT?
I have not.
Does that PT, you have a Windows computer, right? Does that PT for PC game still exist? Can we get Dalton to play PT? Dalton, do not look up PT. Don't even remotely type it in. You need to not, I want you to play PT now knowing nothing about it. But I have to see if they still have the PC port or not.
Challenge accepted.
PT was a game that Hideo Kojima made to hype up a Silent Hills game he was making before Capcom, or before, not Capcom. Was it Capcom? It was Capcom, right? Is Capcom that fired Kojima? Either way, PT is one of the scariest experiences of my life.
Oh, God.
Let me see if PT for PC still exists.
I'm such a baby. It will. If anyone wants to see me absolutely scared, it probably will do the trick.
Konami, thank you, chat. Why did I say? Why did I fucking say that? Anyway, 219-327-8005, guys. That's the number to call. That is the pick that number up. Pick up the phone. PT is so fucking crazy. What game did I say recently? Maybe this will be the game we play tonight. Let me go look. What I tend to do is if I see someone playing a game that looks good on TikTok, I'll like screenshot it and be like, "Ooh, I should play that." But then the screenshots sit buried in my. Oh yeah, it's called Mole. Mole. It seems like it's a spiritual successor to Iron Lung.
I am super excited to play Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced later today. I've been waiting.
Did you play the original?
I did play the original and I loved it when I was a kid. And I'm gonna hopefully get that shot of dopamine from and nostalgia from playing it again.
Yeah, it's probably the Assassin's Creed game I played the most of. Bendy and the Ink Machine is not a scary game. I hate to be that guy. How much is a PlayStation with PT still on it selling for? Good question. Let me go check eBay.
So I guess this is an older game.
So PT was a downloadable game for the PlayStation 4, but they delisted it. And so the only way to play in it, like the OG PT, is to own a PlayStation 4 that still has PT downloaded on it.
Oh, wow. Rare.
I'm trying to see if I can find one on eBay of a PlayStation with PT installed. $600. PS4 OG with PT demos downloaded and saying $600.
Someone's asking how old I am because I said when I was a kid I played Black Flag. By kid I mean anything younger than 18 years old. I'm 30.
Black Flag came out when I was in my 20s.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Or am I mistaken?
It came out in 2013. Oh no, yeah, 2013. I guess I was 20. You would have been still.
Yeah, in high school.
It came out when I was 20. Okay.
I was like 17 or 18 years old.
God, I can't wait. Oh, I'm hyped. Should I play Black Flag? You guys, should I play Assassin's Creed on stream tonight? Should that be what tonight's stream is? I'll go hook the PlayStation up. Or I'll probably just download it on my PC.
I'm kind of excited about they got rid of all the load screens, so it's going to be one seamless world that you can travel through. I love that.
Chat says yes. Chat. Wait, is it on Steam or is it only on the Steam summer sale? It ends today in like 2 hours. So if you've not gotten your Steam summer sale games, get them today. 219-327-8005 if you want to debate. $60. Oh, why does it have mixed reviews? 14 reviews so far, and it's mixed. Interesting.
People are haters.
Good job. Your DLCs that cost more than the game itself as soon as the game launches, so it's content removed from the. Wait, what? It crashes a lot. Oh yeah, I guess it is the first day of a Ubisoft game, so it probably does crash a bunch. Game released with $85 worth of DLC 20 minutes before I could even install from preload. Talk about a cash grab. Really? Is there that much DLC? What DLC? Oh yeah, look at all of it.
They added new stuff to it, I think, too.
Character packs. Well, if it's all character stuff, what do I care? Map pack.
They also added new story, a little bit of new story.
Dragonstorm Naval pack. It's just character packs. $84 of DC is crazy. Wait, what do you get if you get the deluxe edition? Do you get all the DC? The DLC? Sorry, the DC? Sorry, the DLC.
Deluxe edition.
No, you only get two of the DLC. Complete the naval pack and the character pack. Oh no, you get everything. So wait. I'm so confused. This isn't making sense. So I can get. Oh no, yeah, you only get the Master Assassin one. Okay, this is. But why do I need? I don't care about any of that. It's just. I'm just going to get skins. What is the map pack?
I'm just going to get the standard edition.
Use a special spyglass to instantly unlock rare collectibles across the map or the world map. Wait, what? Are you telling me that that if I buy the map pack, all that is it's maps for collectibles that aren't in the game unless I buy this? Did they really lock like legit content?
I think map pack. I'm looking at map pack right here. What does it say? Use a special spyglass to instantly unlock rare collectibles across the world map. I think it's like I think what it is like, okay, I don't know if you've played any of the more recent Assassin's Creeds, but usually a lot of these icons are like hidden and you have to find them. This is just like a way of like skipping that and like having all the content like you can find them from the get-go. They'll be on your map.
That's stupid. Why would I pay $5 for that?
I've
This
done
is
it
why I
in the
don't
past.
play AAA games anymore, dude. I'm gonna be so fucking upfront with you. This is why I don't do it. This is why I don't play AAA games.
I chill out. I buy these things. In the recent Assassin's Creed, I bought the map pack. I also bought like the thing that allows my like drachmas. I can get more drachmas and more XP for less time because I ain't got the time.
That's dumb. Anyway, 219-327-8005. We're looking for theists to call and convince us of God. Call and convince us to become Christians. Call and convince us that we should be, I don't know, that we should follow Tag. Call and convince us of Tag. Yeah,
Tag
yeah,
your
let's do that
shit?
one. Tag is dookie.
Yeah. It's gonna be a shirt. Tag your shit. I'll tell you what, Jovan, my greatest evidence against God's existence is all the really shit theists I've been talking to lately. Every one of them is one more reason for me to not be a Christian.
Shit, true. True. Every single one of them. They're all terrible. What if, hypothetically, we had people call in? Make sure you're liking the live on YouTube, guys. There's only like 270 of you in the YouTube. So you got to hit that like button. You got to comment. Got to be sending comments that are individual, not just spam stuff, so that we can get the boost. I've
spoken, get this, 5 Christians in the last 2 weeks. Because one of the prompts that I do is Jesus is dead, and obviously that's antithetical to Christianity because he's resurrected in Christianity. I've had 5 Christians come up, agree with me that Jesus is dead, not understanding their own theology. I just sit there and explain basic Christian theology to 5 Christians on why Jesus in their religion isn't dead. If you don't even know the basics, like, come on, people.
Shit. How about all them dead atheist symbols, guys? Like, and also, let's see if we get some calls to call in. Screeners are standing by.
One of
Crunch
the
Bunch,
other
thank you for subscribing with your Amazon Prime.
Another thing that really irks me is when I get Catholics who call and go, "I'm not Christian, I'm Catholic." Like, nope, it's like saying I'm a husky, not a dog. Come on, dude.
I'm a husky, not a dog. That's funny.
I would just like to talk to a Christian that actually knows the Bible.
Oh my God, one time would be great.
Christians, if when I was a Christian, I thought this book was from God, so I read the fuck out of it. Why don't you read your book? Being part of a book club and you never read the book, you're only there for the wine.
First time, long time. Somebody's got to call in or I'm going to be tired.
We can only do so much vamping. Come on, people.
Oh my God, the Backyard Baseball remake is out. Could play with me and my boy Juan. He's the real one.
I've been playing the fuck out of Baldur's Gate 3. I got me and my friend Ashlyn have been playing a campaign. We ran through the whole game, beat it. Now we're playing it a second time and like really doing all the little side quests and everything.
I never got into it, but that's just because I don't like
turn-based.
Yeah, but specifically like D&D style turn-based.
It took a lot of getting used to, I'll tell you that much. And I will freely admit that I'm using a few mods to cheat so that I don't have to get unlimited spell slots.
I have been replaying Spider-Man and more
Which ones?
Spider-Man. PS5 Spider-Man.
With the version of Spider-Man I would love to see get a remake and come back is that I don't know if you ever played the Ultimate Spider-Man game back in the day on Xbox or PlayStation.
I don't think I did.
That's the one. That's the one. It's cell shaded, and you play as both Spider-Man and Venom.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Such a good game.
I like Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm really excited
I'll
for
tell
the
you
new movie.
what. I'm like real hyped for the new Spider-Mans. I bought 3 tickets. 1 ticket for me using my AMC A-list. And then 2 tickets right next to me so that nobody sits next to me. And since I bought my tickets at like 12 a.m. on a Friday, like the day it comes out, they were like half off each. So I essentially paid for 1 ticket, but got 3 tickets to Spider-Man's. So if anybody wants to come see Spider-Man with me, let me know.
Who do you think that who do you think the mystery character is?
Oh my God, not this again. All I know is it better not be Jean Grey, or I will be very mad.
Explain.
I don't want Jean Grey in my Spider-Man movie. I want a Spider-Man movie that's just a Spider-Man movie. I don't need anything else.
I can't imagine who else it would be.
There are a million people in the comics who have the exact same power. Swarm has literally the exact same power set.
All right. Well, here's fingers crossed then. I really like I really get the squirmlies just from watching Peter Parker squeeze his wrist and the webbing coming out like that. Nope, didn't like that.
If I have to watch if it ends up being Jean Grey, it's gonna make the movie worse. I don't care what anybody says. The only way it wouldn't be worse is if she doesn't know, if she's like a Jean Grey that has amnesia and doesn't know she's Jean Grey until a post-credit scene where it's revealed, oh, and what's your name? Jean. Like, the Jean Grey of it all has to have no impact on the story. Also, Jean is a terrible name. It is now 2026. Nobody is naming their, like, because she's only in her 20s. No one's naming their 20-year-old child Jean. That's like a fucking old person's name.
You might as well name your kid Khaki. But like, yeah, I mean, mutants aren't really all that present in the MCU. They're like other universe. So
no, not true.
Kamala
Khan is technically a mutant in the MCU.
Yeah,
she has the X gene technically.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to I don't know how they're going to integrate mutants into the MCU. I think the only way you can do it at this point and it make any sense is if somehow you find a way to merge multiple Earths into one because of some almost
that's gonna happen
event.
in Doomsday. That's what the Doomsday Secret Wars is setting up. So there's no reason to do it now.
Yeah, because like, how do you explain suddenly all these mutants have been here and everyone hates them?
First of all, I'm not dissing Jean-Luc Picard because his name is Jean, which is fine. I'm talking about Jean.
If his name was Jean-Luc Picard, then that would be a problem.
Guys, 368 of you are watching on YouTube. We need more likes on YouTube. I'm just gonna let you know that.
Yeah, everyone make sure your
MC is coming. Unfortunately, we've already been in the multiverse.
Yeah, that's been a thing now since the end of since what's it called? Endgame. I just wonder how they're gonna. I mean, is there really anything left to really do with Spider-Man? I feel like
shut the fuck up. Yes, shut up. What?
They can bring in Miles Morales. I mean, I just feel like No, not Spider-Man in general, like, but like this Spider-Man. I don't know.
What? So much. He's barely done shit. We've barely seen his rogues gallery. We've gotten Vulture, albeit what I personally think is probably the best iteration of the Vulture is MCU Vulture. Vulture in the comics is fucking stupid.
Lame as fuck.
Phenomenal the way they did Vulture. We got Mysterio. Not my favorite Mysterio, but a very good Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal was great. That's like it.
We probably won't ever get a Green Goblin or a Dr. Octopus or a Lizard because
now if we get those, it's just weird, but this is the thing. Hulk is very clearly playing the role in this movie of Kirk Connors. Because if Peter has an issue with a mutation in the comics, he would go to Kirk Connors. He's going to Hulk because there is no Kirk Connors in this universe.
Right. And we already know there's no Norman Osborn because that was confirmed in
we haven't
No
gotten
Way
a good
Home.
Craven. We haven't gotten like we got that shitty Aaron what's his name? Kick-Ass.
Do you think they would ever bring in Mobius or Craven now because of what happened? Yeah.
Morbius is not a fucking factor in Spider-Man comics much anymore. Morbius went the way of the 90s. Nobody really fucking cares about Morbius. Craven, we could still get a good Craven. A good story where Peter is like on the run. Like that's what could have been a really cool, like let's say you don't do the multiverse thing with No Way Home. A really cool way to do that is Peter's like on the run and the government hires Craven to track him down. And you get a really cool story of Peter having to be hidden, he can't rely on just taking the mask off. Like that would have been a cool story. Not what they gave us with Craven.
I feel like they've kind of like they were setting up a whole symbiote storyline, and then it seems like they just kind of
but that's because Marvel
it.
wasn't setting shit up. Sony was setting up this symbiote stuff. I don't think Marvel wants to do Venom. If they do, I hope they introduce him in Secret Wars like he is in the comics. He's introduced in Secret Wars because he's an alien, and they go to an alien planet and they find the Venom symbiote. I hate this shit they did with Venom I don't like the Venom movies. They're bad movies. The Venom is not a good movie series.
How many are there now? 2 or 3?
There's 3, right? There's Venom, there's Absolute Carnage, and then there's Last Dance.
Oh, right. I didn't see the third one, and I don't remember if I saw the second one.
Venom as a character does not work separate of Spider-Man. He just doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't. He shouldn't even look that way. The only reason Venom even looks the way he looks is because he wants Spider-Man back. Now, I don't even like when they anti-hero Venom. I don't like Venom being an anti-hero either. No.
Just a straight up villain.
Yes. He's cool as a bad guy. I don't give a fuck when Venom's doing good guy shit. Shut up.
Like if they introduce, it's going to be difficult to introduce. I think Venom in Secret Wars as an alien because they already left behind a piece of him on Earth.
That homie. We don't need that. Can just be forgotten. Do you know how much shit the MCU just forgets that they did? Where's Hercules? They brought in Hercules at the end. Where's Harry Styles? Who gives a fuck if they put something in an after credit scene? Marvel doesn't care about those anymore. I actually am a proponent of get rid of the after credit scene. We don't need them anymore. It was interesting when you did it the first time. Okay, there were 2 times where I think the post credit scenes are actually useful. It was when Iron Man first sees Nick Fury. Incredible, because you didn't even expect the post credit scene. That was a surprise. And then Thanos at the end of Avengers. That's it. No other time do I think post credit scenes have been used effectively in a Marvel movie. They've just been fun little things, but they're not. They're just advertisements for a next movie, which we're already all going to see anyway. So I don't need those.
Yeah, they also they advertised Blade at the end of Eternals. I don't think we're ever getting a Blade now, sadly.
Yeah, we're not getting Blade now. I wouldn't want a Blade movie. I'd want Blade as a series. There are some
Yeah,
things that I'm like, I don't want a movie version of this. I don't think Blade would do well as a movie. I think Blade would do really well as a darker, almost noir style series.
some things are better for like a little mini series over a TV show. I mean, over a movie for sure. We've already had Blade movies. Just do something different. I'll be surprised if we get Deadpool in the Secret Wars. I really hope they don't just drop.
It would also, I'm just gonna be so for real, it would shock me if Sony was like, yes, Marvel, you can use our Spider-Man movie to just set up more Marvel movies. That would be very surprising. Because if you've noticed, the Spider-Man movies have been very separate of introducing things to the MCU. Because they're Sony movies first and foremost. So Sony doesn't want to give half of their movie to Marvel, which they would be doing if it's now introducing the X-Men.
That's true. Marvel's did give us more X-Men at the end of that, of course, and we're gonna be getting...
like the lives. Y'all need to like the live. God damn, come on. Oh well, yeah. I agree. I think the post-credit scene at the end of the Marvels is actually very cool, where you get to see Beast again, and it looks great. The CG they used for Kelsey Grammer, it looks great.
Yeah, it's
that was just cool.
Be the same X-Men that we'll be getting in Doomsday, for sure.
Well, it is. We know that. We've seen the trailers, and we've seen the chairs. We know that we're getting Cyclops back, we're getting Professor X back, we're getting Beast back, we're getting Nightcrawler back. And if the leaks from that convention are true, we know that there's going to be an opening scene where it's like, who was it, Nightcrawler and Gambit fighting or whatever. I don't want Channing Tatum's Gambit. I think he's a joke character that I can't take seriously if he's now in a serious movie. I can take him seriously. Oh, Gambit and Shang-Chi. Terrible choice. I know, Pillow told me about that. Terrible choice. First of all, Shang-Chi has not done... You've not done enough with Shang-Chi for me to care about him as a major player in an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
You haven't done enough with him.
They should have made another movie.
I'm worried because the payoff of Infinity War was them paying off so many character arcs and stories that they had been setting up from the beginning. We get a really good payoff for Endgame. We get a really good payoff for Captain America and Iron Man's characters. We get what I think is a decent payoff for Natasha. We get good payoffs and like completed story arcs of a bunch of people. I don't think that's possible to do now because you haven't set up any of these characters with stories except for Falcon Cap, Sam Cap. He's had the most screen time between his show and his movie. Who else has had, like, and when you go back to the lineup of like the chairs of all the people that are in Doomsday, most of those characters have not had jack shit to do.
Loki had a lot going on in his show.
They're gonna ruin Loki, and it's gonna piss me off.
You think he's gonna be in Doomsday and they're gonna ruin it?
Isn't he already confirmed to be in Doomsday?
I have no idea. Oh, I remember. Okay, there was
isn't he in the chair? Wasn't he on the chair?
Yeah,
one of the chairs?
That's right. They did the thing with all the chairs. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Tom Hiddleston confirmed for it. Yeah, whether or not that's gonna be,
they're gonna ruin Loki. They're gonna ruin him, dude. They're gonna ruin Loki.
I can imagine
Loki has the greatest conclusion, in my opinion, to any character in the MCU. Loki has the greatest conclusion, and I just feel they're gonna fucking ruin it.
Yeah, I think the only way you can not ruin it is if it's not prolonged exposure. If it's like he's only there for a moment to give information because he sits on that throne.
I think Doom is gonna kill Loki. I think he has to. Because Doom, what it seems to be, my assumption on Doom's plan is Doom kidnaps Richard Boy.
Kid.
He kidnaps the Richard Boy. He comes to our universe, which is because Captain America created an incursion when he went back and stayed. So he kidnaps the Reboy, and then he kidnaps Cap's kid. and then blah-de-blah, he has to kill Loki to get the timeline back to one singular timeline. I feel like Doom is trying to create one singular timeline again, and everything in me says that Doomsday ends with him killing Loki, and that sets up and that sets a universe that Doom is in charge, and now Doom is in control of the battle planet from Secret War. That's my thought on what makes the most sense story-wise.
Man, if that ends up being the case, man, that's a pretty good prediction. I like that.
I think Doom is going to be in control of Battle Planet from Secret Wars. I think Doomsday is going to result. I mean, it's called Doomsday. What's more of a doomsday than the destruction of all timelines? It collapses into, and not just destruction, but a collapse where it essentially becomes like the void that Deadpool was in his third movie. Like, it's just going to be a mishmash of all of these people on Battle World.
See, DC does something very similar to this, where they take multiple different Earths, and then through a crisis event, they merge them together.
DC's Crisis, though, DC annoys me. I hope we don't get Crisis in James Gunn's DC universe, because we've just seen it so many times already.
I'm so tired of DC rebooting. I just want them to don't do it anymore. Don't do it for a long time, please.
Make a note of this timestamp on this stream and come back after Doomsday and tell me if I was right.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah. But everyone needs to be tapping that screen.
Almost getting the name of things right. I have approximate knowledge of most things.
Franklin Richards. There you go.
I think Doom comes to our universe because there was a variant. Like, obviously him and Iron Man are variants, but not variants in the case that like Doom is an Iron Man. It's just another person that looked like him on our universe. So he comes to our universe and he somehow uses the Tony Stark modicum to do whatever. But that's how Fantastic Four are going to get to our universe. They're going to follow Doom through whatever thing he goes through to get here. And then that's what I think it is. I think he's going to essentially create an incursion. He's going to, maybe he exploits the incursion that Captain America did. But in order to exploit the incursion, he has to kill Loki, because there can't be incursions while Loki is the god of stories. It's just impossible. Loki is keeping the timelines from incursion, however you would say it. But so you have to kill Loki in order to create incursions again. And I think Doom wants to create an incursion.
Yeah, I think that the thing I'm probably most expecting and most waiting for is how they're going to use Robert Downey Jr., in the whole Doom versus Tony Stark
thing. From what I understand, he does not take his mask off in this first movie
at all.
That's from what I understand. So I don't think we're going to see Robert Downey Jr. until Secret Wars or the very end of this. Like, it might be the case that there's like this big battle, and at the end of the battle, he gets his mask knocked off, and that's like the final shot of the movie is him turning around being Iron Man. Now, if they do that, total mistake to tell everybody he was Iron Man, right? Yeah. Really terrible mistake. Robert Downey Jr. should not be Doom. I mean, I'm going to disagree. Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor. I think he's going to do fine. I don't have, like everybody said when he got cast as Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. should not be doing this. He's going to ruin this movie. And then what happened? He was the best thing in the MCU. Yeah.
I do find it difficult to believe that he won't show his face, since we already know that Junior is playing him. I think it'd be I feel like someone with RDJ's like ego and repertoire is not gonna not have his face on screen at a good portion of the movie.
Yeah, I am very there's a lot of stuff that I'm like so estranged by, I guess. Which work of fiction is worse, Madam Web or the Bible? Damn, the Bible might just barely eke out Madam Web as being the worst piece of fiction.
Oh man.
I will say for all his bullshit, I'm upset at how good Jonathan Majors was as the one who remains, and how fucking much we've lost out on that. Because that was gonna be sick. That was good. Like, not in Ant-Man. I think he was trash in Ant-Man. I think they fucked up Kang in Ant-Man in a way that will always baffle me. when you're setting up the big bag of the MCU and you have his first ever real appearance be Ant-Man beating him, you fumbled the bag more than anything that you've ever fumbled the bag. That being said, the one when Jonathan Majors was He Who Remains, phenomenal. Like that scene at the end of Loki is so fucking good.
You seen Jeff's comment?
Yeah. As somebody they don't want a black man starring as Doom. That's fucking good.
Yeah, why don't y'all want a black man as Doom? I think it's about time.
Famed African-American actor Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, God.
Oh, also, I don't think I want Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield to come back for Secret War. I don't really want
man. I'm kind of split. I don't really want that. I think it'd be unnecessary, or I don't think it's going to happen because the hype was already there and we've done it and it won't be as exciting this time. I don't think Logan should be in the movie either.
I don't really want that.
Yeah. Here's a good question, Jovan. Why do you think the Christians are so terrified to call in?
Because they know that my Marvel takes are 100% the best takes.
Sure. Yeah. I'll go and say Madam Web is worse than the Bible.
Madam Web is absolutely not worse than the Bible. The Bible's worse than Madam Web.
I mean, there's
At
a
least
lot
Madam Web is funny. At least I can watch Madam Web and laugh. I can't laugh while reading the Bible. I get to the part about like selling your daughter and it just gets sad.
Oh.
219-327-8005.
Well, Christians, I laugh at the Bible all the time. It's got some stupid shit in it.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man? Why is it to go Andrew Garfield? It is Andrew Garfield until potentially the end of this month where we'll switch to Tom Holland.
Yeah, Tom's new movie is I think this is going to be the best his Spider-Man has ever been. Best suit.
Right now, it's gearing up to be the best Spider-Man movie, period. Jovan, thoughts on paganism? It's still a belief in gods. So I don't.
I'd say paganism, not great. Paganism though? I'm all about paganism. Bring on the pagan.
The Bible is worse because no one ever used Madam Web to justify slavery.
Okay, you got me there.
Better than Spider-Verse? I think Spider-Verse is going to turn out to be a disappointment. I do not trust how long it's been taking them to make this third movie.
Yeah.
I don't trust it. You had 2 out of the park 10 out of 10s, and I think this third one is going to bring them down to 7 or 8s.
God,
as well, maybe the first one can remain. The second one is only going to be good contingent on the third. The first one you can watch as its own contained story and just be like, that was it. The second one requires the third to clean it together. So if the third is bad, then the second one is going to lose a lot of points. Jovan giving shit Hat Guy takes. I'm going to say it right now. The Escape Pod, my takes are better than Hat Guy's. 100%. Guys, a trilogy is only as good as the trilogy. You can't watch Across the Spider-Verse and get a complete story out of it because it's not a complete story. There is no completed arc. It's the first half of a story. And if the second half is bad,
yeah, no, I think
also
that's
don't
accurate.
like the idea of the canon event stuff in Spider-Man. I don't like this. So I hope that Miles refusing is them realizing, oh, the canon events are real. Also, they shouldn't have connected it to the MCU because now it doesn't make sense that there are incursions because Loki is a god of stories now. This is the problem. Sorry.
Yeah, I did think it was. I mean, as one of my favorite things about that movie though was them putting the live action movies as being part of I'm very confused about how the multiverse works in the MCU now because of this movie.
No, someone said it's crazy to think they'll screw it up after 2 10 out of 10 movies. No, what makes me think they'll screw it up is the movie was supposed to come out 2 years ago. It now is not coming out till next year, and that's if it doesn't get pushed again. So yeah, I kind of think when you push a movie back 3 years, doesn't give me a lot of hope.
Let's just cross our fingers and hope that we're wrong.
Oh, I would love to be wrong. The way I see it, incursions were going to happen until Loki took the threads. Yeah, now he has the threads. So any plot that's about incursions doesn't make sense. 219-327-8005 if you want to debate. Stop being chickens, Christians. You're all chicken shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't call in either if I knew for a fact that my religion was bullshit and I had no good way of defending it.
Animated stuff takes time, homie. When did the last movie come out? It came out in 2023.
Has it been?
It doesn't take that long. It don't take that long.
Yeah, especially
because
like
you should have been working on it at the same time. That also makes me realize that they didn't even have the script done at the end of the second movie, like when they start. And I'm like, why is your script? Why was this not written at the same time?
Yeah, if you're gonna do a big two-parter like this, you definitely have to have both parts prepared and ready to go, basically. And that's what they did with Lord of the Rings. That's what you got to do with movies like this.
Make them at the same time and then pay people more. Your movie's making billions of dollars. Pay your people more. To be fair, Into the Spider-Verse was 2018 and the next movie was 2023. Yeah, even that's too long.
Yeah, I heard there was complications and delays with the movie.
Listen, and it's fine if your movie is going to take 5 years to make, right? The issue, okay, with it taking 5 years is that this is a direct sequel. A plot. It's a sequel with a what's it called when you end a cliffhanger. If this was not a sequel with a cliffhanger, I would not have an issue. But you can't leave it on a cliffhanger and then expect me to be like super excited when the next one comes out. It's been years.
Yeah, they set up so much at the end of that movie. You know what? The thing that every day I get a little bit more disappointed as I hear nothing about it. Elder Scrolls 6. That's the bane of my existence right now.
Dude, I'm sad. How long has it been since? It's been almost 10 years for GTA. No,
it's been
more. 2013 is when GTA 5 came out. It's been over 10 years.
Yeah, we'll finally get it this year. But we've gotten so much more information on GTA 6 and we've gotten no information on Elder Scrolls 6 whatsoever.
Yeah, because they're too busy with making buttloads of money from Fallout 76. Why would they focus their time on Elder Scrolls?
I hate that shit.
You want to change it? You guys want to change these companies to actually do things that are like beneficial for the consumer? Stop spending money.
Yeah.
Stop spending money. So, for instance, don't go see live action Moana. Make a stand and tell Disney we're not going to put up with this bullshit.
Yeah, listen, I get when they did live action Beauty and the Beast. It's been a long time since that movie came out. I enjoyed that movie. Moana just came out. You don't need to be making a live action.
Hot take. I think anyone that goes and sees live action Moana is a bad person. Even if you're like, but my kids want to see it, tell them to get better taste.
It's completely unnecessary. Completely gratuitous.
It is a masturbatory session for The Rock. That's what it is.
Most rock movies are. I'm just tired. There's a few actors that I'm tired of seeing in every movie, and that would be Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black.
Okay, well, you messed up on the third one there.
I love Jack Black. It's just that
Nah.
it feels like every other movie's got him in it now.
It's not even close.
I
What's he
didn't-
been
and
in
I did-
lately? Minecraft?
I didn't like that. I saw Minecraft. Watched that recently for the first time. I did not care for the Santa movie that he was in recently, the Christmas film.
The one where he plays
That
the
was
devil?
Yeah, that was a bad movie.
Yeah,
And
but that's different from he's in everything. That he was in one like low budget bad movie that got like no press.
It was a really bad movie. I didn't see the second Jumanji movie. I don't know if it was any
It
good or not.
was not as good as the third was not as good as the second.
The third, there's been 3
Well, considering
Are-
both Jumanji movies are sequels to the first Jumanji,
to the original. Okay,
then
yeah.
yes,
sure.
they would be the second and third Jumanjis.
All right, yeah. I'll let that slide. Yeah, I think that's.
We got an office hours call, so we might as well take that. God,
Yeah,
calls
sure.
have been so slow this week. And
Yeah.
then next week, I'm sure they'll be fucking off the charts. Ash from the Netherlands calling with an office hours question. Ash, hello, age and pronouns, please.
Hello, my age is 19 and I use he, they pronouns.
All right, Ash, what's your question?
I was wondering, would you be okay with the practice of religion if it stayed outside of politics and people didn't push it onto others, including kids?
I mean, I'm fine with the practice of religion now. I just think that the people who do it are practicing something that's fake.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just wondering because I do really like the idea of religion.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer you people practice real things, but like if they want to practice fake stuff, they can practice fake stuff all they want.
We can have religion that doesn't, like, we can have like secular religion where there's no gods involved, no supernatural. You can have all the ceremony, all the ritual, the singing, the gathering together, reading. You can even have reading. Just read like literature that's reflective of like true things. You can have all the things that you have in religion without any of the God beliefs.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hope you get more calls.
So do we.
Have a good day.
You too.
What I just described, by the way, we have something like that here in Texas, over in the Houston area. There's a organization called Oasis, and they do just that. They get together, they do concerts together. Then they have readings from selective literature, community outreach, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I just think like at the end of the day ends, you know?
At the end of the day ends. I love that.
Is that a
So,
t-shirt?
so-
I want a t-shirt that says that. At the
That's so
end of the day ends.
Man, W for philosopher Jovan. Jovanus.
Oh yeah, wait. Wasn't that a Rihanna quote? Didn't Rihanna say that?
Oh, really?
Somebody said it, not Rihanna. Glorilla said it. At the end of the day gotta end. And at the end of the day,
man.
it's nighttime.
Yeah, it's not, I don't know. It was just last night, or this whole week's been pretty slow for you?
No, just last night and today have been slow. The rest of the
It's
time it's
been
been fun.
TikTok has been very slow lately as far as callers are concerned.
Yeah, that's TikTok.
Yeah.
That's TikTok.
I'm still waiting for the better debate platform to come out.
It would also help if people liked the live on YouTube. About 200 of you haven't done it.
Tap that screen like Jonathan wanted to tap King David. Tap that screen
No.
like the Roman.
Tapping the screen doesn't do likes on YouTube.
Oh,
You have to hit
right,
the
well,
three dots.
hit the three
Then you have
dots.
to
Yeah.
hit the like button.
Sorry, I ain't got a catchy phrase for that. Just do it.
Don't be doing them TikTok stuff over here on the YouTube lands. The YouTubulars.
Make sure to send me hearts and galaxies, everybody.
Galaxies, send your gifted galaxies. Like Buzz Lightyear sends a cola.
A couple of weeks ago, so TikTok's got this thing where randomly people can invite you to do duels or something. I don't know. I don't
They've had that
care for
forever.
it. I don't care for it at all. But I was just in the middle of doing my own live. Had a full face of makeup on, and I was shirtless. We were doing an after dark show, and then you can only imagine what this other person, what their experience must have been like when they just ask a random person to duel, and suddenly that's what they see.
Yeah, we have to have an intervention with you about these after dark streams.
The people want it. The people love it, and I bring them what they
If
love.
the people wanted you to jump off a bridge, would you do it?
How many galaxies am I getting?
Don't answer that. Don't. Okay.
I'm a shameless. I put myself out there. I'm like, if I had a nicer body, I would have already made an OF.
Crazy. Dalton, the OF guy.
Hell yeah, brother. I'm trying to make sure that the good word of Peggy gets out there.
Chill. 219-327-8005. I just want to debate.
I would love to be able to talk about the Bible, Christians. I want to talk about the Bible. I want to talk about Jesus. Why should I believe in Jesus?
I feel like God almost just took you out just then. Was that divine
Yeah,
intervention?
he's like
We just
struck
witnessed that?
down. That'd be crazy.
Look, if we don't get callers within 2 hours of the show, I'm going to take a nap.
I will probably end up taking a nap too.
And then I'll just be on later tonight. I can try again at 7, but it'd be great to get a call now, 219-327-8005, 219-327-8005. Convince us that God is real. Convince us the Christian God is good. Convince us the Bible is true. Convince us Jesus was divine, and convince us the resurrection happened. Can you do it?
Dalton pimping himself out is crazy. That's
I like the
basically been my whole.
I like that one Christian who keeps coming into the stream because he doesn't have anything better to do with his life. And is like, why don't you convince me of atheism? Because we're not making a position on the universe. You are. So you want me to convince you of a non-position?
Jovan, you just described so many of my callers. They call in because they have no friends and they have nothing better to do.
Crazy.
There's this one fella. I don't know. Do you know who No Degree Required is?
No.
Infamous on the TikTok side of things, and fella is so bad that so many people have like blocked him at one point, and he created a live this last week that says, why do all the atheists on this live have me blocked?
I like when they make really dumb positions and you block them because you're like, I don't want to listen to you speak. And they're like, see, you're afraid of me. Homie, what?
I just care about the well-being of my brain is all it is.
I want to order cookies. I want cookies. I want a cookie. But I don't want crumble.
Everyone
Or
should
McDonald's.
everyone should send Jovan some super chats so we can justify him just buying cookies.
Subway? Crack Barrel?
Well, God is real and he has a sense of humor. He created you two guys. If God were real, he wouldn't have.
warm skillet cookie would go hard right now.
Ooh. My favorite cookie is macadamia nut.
Nut.
That's my it's my favorite to go to.
Dude, it's just annoying. It's annoying talking to Christians who don't even understand the arguments. Like, for me, this idea, like, it really is frustrating, this idea that they're like, you have to convince me of your side. I'm like, what side, dude? My side is I don't believe you. That's the entirety of my side. So what am I trying to convince you of?
That's a big problem. Christians don't see. I understand what Christianity is. Christians don't know what atheism is. They think atheism is a
100%
worldview.
They don't. They 100% don't know what atheism is.
They think it's a worldview. They think we're making a positive claim. I'm not. The only positive claim I'm making is I don't believe you.
Ooh, what is this place?
I'm not an
Stuffed
evangelist. for atheism. I'm not going around knocking on doors telling people to accept the good word of atheism. I don't need to make more atheists. I'm just like, I'm not convinced that you guys know what you're talking about. The Christians out there.
Well, they also think that all atheisms believe the same thing scientifically too. But our
Yeah.
belief in my understanding of the creation of the universe is separate from my atheism. They are not the same. They're not even remotely the same. I'm not making a claim in any spiritual sense in how the universe was made.
And Christian, just like Christians, I met an atheist this week who believes in spirits behind everything in the world. Yet the only thing that all atheists have in common is that we do not believe in gods.
It's the only thing we have in common.
Yeah, it's literally the only way you can be a bad atheist is believing in a god. Otherwise, my position on science, that's a separate worldview. Naturalism.
It's quite literally in the name, atheism.
It doesn't get more difficult than that.
I think they just don't understand language.
They are also just another really big problem that Christians have is that they are quite literally incapable of placing themselves in the shoes of another person. They cannot comprehend how other people think, to the point where they start projecting their own mind processes onto us. Like, oh, we have a holy book, so they must have a holy book, and that must be what the origin of species is. Darwin is like their prophet. If Darwin said it, it must be true, because that's how we treat the Bible. I couldn't give a shit what Darwin said.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I'd see it all too often.
They don't know the prefix a. Yeah, they tend not to.
Someone said, "I love that these people that a guy that refers to the people as Darwinists, exactly like Darwinist, like." Please, my dude, no one gives a shit what Darwin had to say. We've moved on. We know more about evolution than Darwin ever could have known.
That is a great point. A great point theists could debate us on if they called in, but they won't because they're chicken shit.
Because they know they cannot take on the combined forces of Jovan and the Bible guy.
My favorite is the dude in the comments who's like, you guys are cowards, but won't call in. But we're the cowards. Yes, absolutely.
I'm the coward.
I'm
sure. Calling you out. Get on up here. Call in.
Sure.
Don't be a hypocrite. Call in.
I'm looking to buy a cookie. But I don't know where I want to get the cookie from. But I know I want cookies.
The only place I know where to get cookies from is Subway.
Elira the Free, thank you for the super chat. Trans rights are human rights. If your book tells you otherwise, you can fill in the blank.
Yeah.
True?
Not up for debate. Jovan and Dalton team Jalton? Don't know how about that.
You don't like coming second to a black person?
You know what? No, I'll take it.
Got him.
Damn it.
Got him.
Walked right into that one.
Got him. I'm probably not going to order a cookie. It's a lot of money just to get like a singular cookie.
It's not a lot of money if you get a sandwich with it from Subway.
Yeah, but I already ate. I don't really want more food. I just want a cookie. Homie, I'm just going to time you out because you bore me. So go pick another stream to be boring in, I guess. Bye.
Who, a Christian?
Yeah.
Oh,
who
well,
always comes in chat but won't call in.
Now that you've been timed out, now's the time. I don't know who you are, fella. But that's the whitest thing I could. Listen here, fella. I don't know who you are, but now that you've been timed out, the only way you can like run your mouth is by calling in. So do that.
Look here there, guy. Look here there, big fella.
Howdly doodly hey, neighbor.
Hi diddly hodily. I just want a debate that is fun. and
nice.
entertaining.
I'm really debating whether or not I want to get the Zelda sword, or if I want to get a Aragorn sword from Lord of the Rings. Both are pretty badass. What is it called? The Master Sword?
You probably shouldn't get this one if you don't know the name of it.
Yeah, well, it's
Just gonna throw that out there. It might not be worth the money if you don't even know the name, dog.
Don't be gatekeeping. It's a cool looking sword. I played 3 Zelda games.
It's so funny.
I'll learn the name again whenever the new one comes out when I buy a Switch 2.
I already got a Switch 2.
Oh yeah, by the way, update. I want to thank the community a lot for, like, last time I was on here, we did a fundraiser for Arwen's kid for her birthday. She got so much stuff for her birthday. We're able to fill her room up and everything now, and they got a new apartment that they're going to be moving into this Friday. So, and that's possible because of all you people. So W to all the atheists out there who actually did good work.
W atheism. These hosts are cowards, says the dude who just switched accounts so he could avoid a ban but still won't call in.
Man.
We're totally the cowards.
The
phone number is no. The phone number is right there. If you want to prove we're cowards, call in. I'm not the one running from you. You're ducking.
You're being actively a scared seeking little baby you
man.
Out. Is the pot calling the not kettle black? Come on.
But here's the fun part: when you avoid a ban, that means you get like fully booted from the chat because you're a ban evasion now. Goodbye.
Man, they're just obsessed. They love hate watching us. They're sitting there.
Literally loves hate watching, bro. Loves hate watching. Do you know what I do when there's a stream?
Jovan and Dalton.
Where there's a stream that's saying stuff I don't agree with, if I don't want to debate them, I just scroll. Super simple.
I could not care less. If I come across something I don't agree with, I just keep scrolling because I got better things to do with my time.
Atheism is irrational in the face of modern science. Also untrue. Call in if you disagree. Do you want me to get an evolutionary biologist on the phone? Because I will.
Yeah, what? And also, as an atheist, I don't make any claims that would be anti-scientific. The only thing I say is I don't believe you, that a God exists. And there's nothing that science has to say about that.
I'll call Forrest right now. Jovan, are you vegan? No. Meat's great.
Oh yeah, I listen.
Tastes good.
I totally want to go vegan, but at the same time, man, I love steak, and that might make me a bad person.
Type the following in machine learning, brother.
Listen, Christians, do you know how many times I have to correct? I've used AI in the past to help me look for things on the internet. You have no idea how many times I've had to correct it on some of the most basic shit when it comes to the Bible.
Oh, Alira, got it. Alira, sorry, Alira. I don't know how much the cookie is. I didn't look.
Huh. Well, isn't that interesting? Look at that.
Holy shit! One of these people don't know math.
Oh, what'd they do?
So this is a very interesting comment. He said, if the universe was composed of DNA, 10 to the 80th power DNA, 10 to the 80th assembled chances per second, it would take 10 to whatever years to assemble the smallest known cells. Except you don't know how long, you don't know how many of those. You're just assuming the amounts per second. You're just making an assumption. I hate these motherfuckers. Homie, call in or shut up. I'm not going to address your stupid ass comments anymore. It's so stupid. In fact, wait, let's put it into machine learning. Let's ask machine learning, and I bet you it's going to disagree with you. I bet. I bet. I bet.
Look at that. We finally have someone who's brave enough to call in. Love that.
Let's see what machine learning says. I can't wait to watch this. I can't wait. This is going to be so fun. Sometimes AI can be used for good, like embarrassing absolutely moronic people.
Yes, love that. Some of the funniest shit is when I have a Christian who so confidently tells me, type that into Chat GPT, and as soon as I do, it absolutely disagrees with him.
Jovan and Dalton support the animal holocaust. What great lefties. Shut up. God damn, you're half the reason people don't go vegan, by the way.
Yeah, be less of an asshole, and you won't turn people away from veganism. Listen, I'm all in favor.
Ooh,
in fact,
yikes. Hey, machine learning person in the comments said that you're wrong. That says that your model has issues. The target is wrong. Candidatus Pelagibacter ubique, which is where 1308759 BP comes from, is the smallest genome among free living cells, but it's a streamlined descendant of a larger ancestor shaped by 4 billion years of selection under nutrient-poor ocean conditions. Nobody proposes it as a starting point. Hypothesis about the earliest replicators involve short RNA-like polymers on the order of tens of nucleotides, and even those are contested. Damn, you got dunked on by Claude, bro.
damn.
Be less of an asshole and stop enslaving animals. Then don't watch me. Please go watch somebody else. I don't have time. I really don't have time for annoying ass vegans today. Go watch somebody else. Genuinely.
Nope.
I will not miss you.
Now, I've never understood a vegan who's also a Christian. There are vegan Christians out
I don't know
there.
if they're a Christian.
But what was I gonna say? Fuck me. Nope, don't remember. Oh well.
Jovan would never debate a vegan because he knows he's wrong. When have I ever said that being vegan is the wrong thing to do? This is why you guys are fucking morons. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm gonna dog shit on this comment really quickly because you're a fucking idiot. I've never claimed veganism isn't a morally superior position, dumbass. Have I ever? Has anyone ever heard me say veganism is not a morally superior decision? On the flip side, have you ever heard me say I'm moral? Like, just shut up. God damn,
Now,
more cows are gonna die because of how annoying you are, just FYI.
There's this company out there. They are working on something quite interesting where they're able to take some cells from a single chicken, and they're able to actually grow chicken meat that no chickens have to die in order to make. That's an interesting prospect. That's far more interesting than anything that you have to say in the comment section.
Bro, still chirping in the comments. Please go find another person to watch. Find another leftist streamer. I'm not the one for you. Go find another one. That's
What gives
the
you the
last
right-
thing I'm going. Quite literally, it's the last thing I'm going to say to you is go find another person to watch. I'm not the one for you. It's quite simple. Easy. Now you can, by the way, there are fucking a million ways to defend like being a humanist, not a secular human, but I'm talking about like human essentialism. There's a million fucking ways to logically defend it. So just like when vegans come up with this nonsense, it's like, you guys don't think past. There's a million ways to logically defend it. It's just dumb. It's a dumb argument. I don't care if you're vegan. I do not care. You're probably making a good choice for you, but shut the fuck up about like, it's the moral grandstanding. You're not a vegan. You're not saying any of this because you think veganism is the right thing to do. You're saying it because you want to appear morally superior. That's why I think you're stupid. right? You call it the animal holocaust because you want to appear morally superior to non-vegans. And those are the type of vegans I think need to shut the fuck up.
The
Just
vegans
personally.
wouldn't eat lab-grown meat because it's synthetic. Well, you can't have your vegan cake and eat it too, I guess.
I'm gonna have a burger for lunch just because you pissed me off.
I got a hot dog in my fridge just waiting for me now. I'll tell you
I'm one of those rare breeds that love hot dogs.
I love hot dogs exclusively for their shape, but
Bro, you sound like people who say stuff like that to LGBTQ allies. You should also not follow me then. Just gonna be so for real. You probably shouldn't follow me.
Uninformed take on their part.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't follow me. Just gonna be so for real.
I was gonna say the most enlightening moment in my entire life was when I left theism for atheism, and I quit eating kosher officially, and I went to Jack in the Box and ate a bacon cheeseburger. Immaculate.
Real. I like how this guy, the search for terrestrial whatever, has now had to rechange his original prompt because AI disagreed with him when he said machine learning would agree with him. So now he's changing what his thing was.
You should just order the burger now and eat it on live.
I'm not hungry right now.
Just to spite him. Force that burger down.
Crazy. Why vegans always so quick to start beef? Because they don't get it anywhere else in their diets.
Damn.
Anyway, let's take a Christian call. Well, a call. I don't know if it's Christian specifically, but we'll take a theism call.
Yeah.
All right, coming up to stream is Talon from Idaho. Talon is calling to tell us that believing in God is just pragmatically real. Talon, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Hey, he, pronoun, age 24. You able to hear me?
Yep. All right, Talon, we do not believe in God. Tell us why we should. Convince us.
Yeah, sure. So I would take it, I'm an American, so I fall in my epistemology under the American School of Pragmatism. That's Pierce, William James. These philosophers basically said in order for something to be true or real, you have to look at its practical effects. So the way that you would measure a question like, is God real? You'd have to look at the practical effects of that belief. And the practical effects of a belief in God, obviously this depends on denomination, but is typically community building, it's improving the individual, it's improving their life. Most people who claim encounters with God build civilization, they build wonderful communities that come together. And if you don't have those same foundations, you don't have the same, we might call, if we were to gamify this, the same stat boost, right? So then there's at least something real to the idea of God in a pragmatic sense. Especially if you look across the longest possible time frames, you'll notice that civilizations that have a concept of God are able to have more internal cohesion. And as a result, these are as general rules, they thrive, where societies that don't have an idea of God, they don't tend to have a long time spans, the same cohesion, the same effect of improving the well-being of the lives of the people a part of that society.
So I'm gonna say there are category errors happening here. So I can agree that there are benefits when people come together through any movement, right? We tend to see benefits to society when people just naturally come together. But this doesn't tell me about the existence of a being that they're making a claim of, which is that, hey, there's a feature of the universe that exists. Pragmatism can't tell us that.
Yeah, I'm on the record. I'm I'm on the record several times as having said that this is, in fact, my least favorite argument for God. Because, like Jovan said, how pragmatic something is doesn't tell me how real the thing that it's talking about. It doesn't tell me that God has any real ontology, only that the concept of God has been somewhat useful for people, but it's a usefulness that I can get outside of God beliefs.
Okay, so maybe I didn't explain the argument very well, right? It starts off in an epistemological claim, right? If you can't interact, like if you can't see the effects of something, it's not real, right? And then the inverse is true. If you're able to see the effects of it, it's real, right?
Yeah, but you're not
Little
talking about
actual
the effects of
across time.
you're not talking about the effects of God. You're talking about the effects of belief. Those are two different
Yeah.
things.
Belief in God, the concept of
No,
God, doesn't tell me whether or not the God actually does exist. If
Well,
like the
I
God
can use an
performed
analogy
miracles
of-
that you could objectively point to and show that would be the effect of the God, but all you're describing is the effect of belief in an idea of God.
So under pragmatism, right, we're evaluating something like an ethical system. We want to know whether that ethical system is real or whether that ethical system is false. The only recourse we have is to the practical effects of the system, right? We can't, like, you can't put God under a microscope. So if you're trying to
Then you
measure
can't
something
prove
you
God.
can't put under a microscope, you have to look at its practical effects.
But we're still not talking about God.
Yeah, you're not talking about the God. You're talking about the belief in him. Those are two different things.
Yeah, the ethical
Wait,
framework.
how are you defining God? Because
a divine, supernatural being that is worshipped, that is responsible for the creation of the universe, that has actual ontology, that is a mind and thinks. All you're describing is that there's an ethical framework that exists. I'll grant you that the ethical framework exists and it exists amongst theists. It doesn't tell me whether or not the God they worship is real.
I think this is the difference, right? I'm a Christian, right? So I don't think that God is purely supernatural, right? I believe that God is in the form of Jesus Christ, who comes down to earth.
Even Jesus
he's
Christ
not
would be
purely
supernatural.
supernatural in my sense.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ
Jesus
would be
is-
supernatural.
Yeah.
No, I'm a Christian. I don't believe that he's purely supernatural. I believe that he has a physical body.
Sure, but
Not anymore. He doesn't.
the physical
No,
body
he does.
would be
He never lost his body. He got assumed into heaven.
sure. The physical body would be natural, but the part of him that is God, the God part, is 100% supernatural.
No, maybe I'm just maybe you haven't talked to a Christian like me before, right? I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we don't believe that.
Oh, you're a Mormon,
right? Mormon,
Yes,
right?
I am. Mm-hmm.
Should I call him?
Yeah.
All right, you keep talking. Dalton.
Yeah. So, anyways, you're not really telling me whether or not God exists, though. This doesn't, just because your moral framework exists, doesn't tell me whether or not that Jehovah exists, or I guess in your religion, Heavenly Father exists. It doesn't tell me anything about whether or not that God exists, because like the world in which the God exists and you have the moral framework, and the God doesn't exist and you have the moral framework, I can't tell the difference.
Why not?
Because you've given me no evidence of this God's existence. All you've told me is that the religion exists. Religions can exist without the gods they worship existing, right?
Well, there would be at least some hint of truth if there was any positive effect of the religion. The truth of the religion would be shown in the actions of the believers.
I don't
right?
think
But that doesn't
I
mean
don't
they have
think
a
you
perfect conception of
understand
God.
Talon. I don't think you understand pragmatism, because pragmatism can't tell us if a physical aspect of reality is true or false. It can only tell us if holding that belief is more or less beneficial or not.
Now,
No,
I think
pragmatism is epistemology. It tells you what is true.
No, pragmatism is
right?
not epistemology. No, it is not.
At least according to
think-
William James.
William James
All
is
these people say that
wrong.
there is epistemology.
No,
I would
pragmatism is quite
suggest-
literally the opposite of epistemology.
That's fine. We can go there.
Pragmatism does not tell us if something is true.
Talon, I would suggest that you take a look into what's called the cognitive science of religion. I mean, the seed of truth in your religion is that human beings have a propensity for thinking that agents are present when they're not, because of our evolutionary history, and that's ultimately the origin source for God beliefs. But it doesn't tell me anything about the God actually existing.
That's fine. We're just using different definitions of what it means to actually exist, right? I don't think, like you might think, I don't think unless something is measurable, it can't actually exist, right? So I think that there's lots of things that we measure the effects of, but we can't measure the thing in and of itself, right? No one has
But
been
the
to
only
the
thing
sun,
you're
right?
giving
But we can
us,
see the light
the
come from it.
the only thing here that has an effect is the religion. The religion can exist with or without the God existing.
I actually don't fully agree on that point, right? Like, if
Wait,
there's a
do you think
God
Zeus?
without a
Do you think
religion,
Zeus
what God is
exists?
he?
Do you think Zeus exists?
I think he's a flawed conception of God.
A flawed conception of God. So a religion where
Yeah.
it's polytheistic and they have completely, totally different understandings of what deity is. All those are
Mhm.
just flawed perceptions of God.
Yeah, I would say that. Well,
And what
I
about religions where
wouldn't
there
even
are
claim that
no?
I have a
What
perfect
about
understanding of
religions
God,
with
right?
no gods?
Depends on how the community comes together. Typically, religions with no
Animism,
gods, they have some other kind of binding force that then keeps
anim,
their community together.
animism has no gods. Now, the religion existed. Does that tell me that animism is somehow true on some level because the religion existed?
Oh, maybe this is the issue, right? So, like, truth is not like truth under the pragmatist paradigm is not a binary true or false. It's more or less true, right? So animism
True
Yeah,
is
is not.
less
we just
true
we
than
we
theism.
reject this as a way to come to an understanding of the belief in God.
Yeah, truth
Well,
is
you're
just
just
that which
rejecting
comports with
the
reality, and you've
epistemology of
given me
belief,
no
right? That's
reason to
okay.
think that this God actually exists in reality. Is it because you don't have any
Would you
actual
like
evidence
me
that
to
God?
defend my epistemology? Because
I would like
you're
for you
kind
to
of just
give me a
rejecting my
reason to
epistemology.
think that. I would love for you to give me a reason to think that your God exists.
Yeah, the reason my God exists is because truth is that which can be measured in its practical effects. And if we measure the practical effects of religion, we can find
You're
religions that are
wait,
more
but
true.
we're not
Proves that the
talking about.
religion
Hold on.
exists.
Yeah, we're not talking about whether religion exists. We're talking about whether God exists. So you're arguing something we're not
Mhm.
arguing.
Well, then where are the religions pulling this like mystical power from to improve the lives of their believers, right?
I
Like
don't.
it has to be from
Wait.
somewhere.
Now you have to prove to me that they're using mystical power to improve people's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me making fun of what the alternative would be if God wasn't real, right? It'd have to be some other force that's giving them
I don't believe
the
there's
improvement
any
in their life.
force that's making them improve people's lives. What about all the lives that
Then
religion
why are their lives
ruins?
better?
What about all the lives that
There are
religion
lives
ruins?
on balance, right? On balance, you have to look at it on balance, right? It's a civilizational force. It isn't something you can measure
No,
in an individual lifetime.
I
You
would
have to measure it
completely,
across eons.
say that religion has caused more net harm than it has good. 100%.
Then why is like all of the technology, all of the wonderful things we enjoy in our current society, why were they invented by why were they invented within
They
religious
weren't.
societies? Why?
They weren't.
Okay,
In
what
religious
wonderful
societies or by
technology?
religious people?
Well, in religious societies, most societies have overwhelmingly religious backers. So that doesn't, that like would be
Yeah.
like asking why, like, hey, why is it that most of my shoes, like if I go grab a random pair of shoes for my house, why are they most likely to be size 13 shoes? Because all my shoes are size 13.
Okay, that would work if you had a counterexample of like animists, right? Why don't we have an animist science, right? Or why didn't animists invent science?
Who
What?
says they didn't? You think animists didn't make inventions back in the day? Like, you
You're
don't
just
think
making
that?
They have
claims
not
that you're
created
not,
the
you're
same amount of
making claims that
technological
you're not
dominance we have now. Of course
substantiating.
not.
You're making claims that you're not substantiating. I reject unsubstantiated claims.
It is just a fact of history that science was invented by theists, right? It was not invented by animists. Do you want me to
Again,
write a citation for that?
you are making claims without proof.
I can give you a citation.
Has
You don't
any
think-
mate actually go ahead, Dalton, you go.
The formalization of the scientific method sure didn't exist until the 1800s, but you don't think people long time ago were like making observations about the natural world and then coming up with ideas about what it could be and then testing them out and then as a result coming to conclusions about things? Like, you don't think animists were doing that on at least a rudimentary level?
No, I would actually concede that. Yeah, of course they were doing it on a rudimentary level. My entire point
All right.
is that the more sophisticated version was under the theists because of their theistic ideas.
Because
Specifically
theism,
Religion as a whole has caused more significant large-scale harm than atheism has. 100%.
Atheism
And
is not
religion
a
as a
thing
whole,
unless
and
you're
religion
positing
as a
positive
whole,
atheism.
religion as a whole has caused more wide-scale harm than it has net good.
Well, I mean, I've listened to you guys beforehand. You guys hold to negative atheism, right? You're not like positive atheists, like we must destroy religion. You're like atheism isn't a thing, right?
I don't know what that's to do with what I just claimed.
Your comparison is really bad because you're comparing something that is to something that is not, right? Like you can't compare like
atheists don't
atheists
don't exist. Atheists don't exist.
No, atheism is not like a coherent thing, right?
Correct.
Atheism, there's lots
That's
of different
why it
atheisms,
hasn't
right?
led to as much hasn't led to widespread harm like theism has. Can you
Yeah.
do you agree
Of
with
course it
me?
can, right? Like
Do you agree with me that
the flying spaghetti
religion?
monster
Do you
can.
agree with me that religion has been a significant cause of large-scale human rights atrocities? The fact
Yeah,
that you didn't just
I would say that,
immediately
yeah.
say yes
It
is
has.
crazy. Why do we have to think about that?
Because I had to think about what you like meant by it, right? But if
Do you
you meant,
agree
like,
that many of the
people who are
major
religious did these
do you
things
believe that
against-
many of the major social benefits of religion are also exist outside of religion? So charity, education, healthcare, things like that.
in the short-term sense, yes. In the long-term sense, no.
In the long term, what does that mean?
Yeah. What do you?
So under pragmatism, you can't just like focus in on individual examples. You have to look to the trajectory over time.
That's
right? 'Cause
what we're
there's always,
doing. That's what we're doing.
Outliers, right?
That's
So
what we're
if you don't
doing.
look at outliers,
Yeah.
you don't look at
What is it
outliers,
about
right?
secular organizations that
I
doesn't
feel
have
like
like
it's just. I feel
long?
like you. No, what I feel like is happening right now is you're just trying to pivot here.
No, I won't pivot. I'll refocus me.
That's what it feels like. It feels like you're like, oh shit, they're walking me into something that proves me wrong. So I got to
No, it's
move
fine.
to
I'll
long
walk down.
term.
Let's do it.
What? Okay, so two things that we've agreed to
I'll do
so
it.
far.
Walk down.
You agree that religion has been a significant cause of human rights atrocities across the globe, and you agree that many of the social benefits of religion can all be done outside of religion. Do you agree then that if an
I
institution
don't agree with that last
produces
statement.
what's the wait, okay. So you don't believe that the social benefits of religion, such as charity, education, healthcare, mutual aid, community, those things can be given to you outside of religion?
I don't think you can measure those things without a baseline, right? So in science, you have to have the null hypothesis.
This isn't
And
science.
the null hypothesis to a religion.
This
would be
isn't
religion,
science right
and
now.
religion
This is a
would outgive
philosophical
charity to
claim.
non-religious people.
This would be a philosophical claim, not a scientific claim.
No, this is an empirical claim. You're saying
No.
that like this is an empirical claim about who gives, right? And religious people give more than non-religious people. They just do.
That's because there's more religious people. What the hell are you talking about, dude?
No. Per capita, they give more.
So
Like religious people per capita give
issues,
more than
two
atheist
issues,
people. They just do.
two massive issues right now. You would have
Go
to
ahead.
demonstrate that the reason the religious people are giving is because of their religion. The religion would need to be the cause for the giving. Otherwise, we can throw that out right now.
Would correlation be enough?
No.
Correlation does not equal causation.
Why would correlation be enough? For instance, if I
Well, then
spend
you would
my
have to
whole
throw
life
out your
if I
original
spend my
point.
whole life as a Christian, I'm like, yeah, I believe in Christ. Never been to church. I don't really even hold to the rules of religion that well. I just call myself a Christian. But I gave $1 million to charity. I didn't give $1 million to charity because I'm religious. I just gave $1 million to charity. It might even be the case that I had a loved one who died of cancer. So I gave $1 million to cancer research. But because I affiliate myself with Christianity, that is now me counting as a Christian giver. But I didn't give because of my belief system. So no, correlation would not matter. Cause is what would matter here.
Okay, well, if that, I actually agree with your reasoning there. But if you apply that same reasoning to your earlier statement that religion causes human rights abuse, well, then we're going to have to weaken that statement, right? You can't hold both.
No, but I actually can show how religion does direct cause this.
Well, if you said that, you'd also have to hold that it direct causes the charity in some sense, in at least some circumstances.
No. Well,
At
sure.
least in some, right?
Wait. I can agree that there are some circumstances where people are giving because they are religious. I've never said that that's not the case. I've said that when we're making the claim that these things can all be given outside of religion, your only response was, well, religion does it more. But I'm just saying these things can be given outside of religion. And even the
I
more that
agree,
you
they can,
talk
yeah.
about, we can't even know the exact numbers because you don't have a cause. So just to walk through again,
Go ahead.
where we're at here, religion has been a significant cause of human rights violations across the globe. We can see this in religious wars. We can see this in persecution. We can see this in inquisitions. We can see this in forcible conversions or mission groups. We can see this when it comes to violence specifically from a like slave justification. We can see this in colonialism. We can see this in a whole bunch of factors where religion was specifically used as the basis for doing these things. Now that we know this, we know that the social benefits you can get from religion, such as charity, education, hospitals, mutual aid, can all be given outside of religion. And we actually can see this. I mean, most education now is non-religious based. Most hospitals are non-religious based. Mutual aid and community support comes from many places, not just religious bases. So when an institution, such as religion, produces substantial harms that are unique or tied directly to it, but the benefits can be achieved through alternate institutions, then its net contribution is negative. Therefore, religion's cumulative harms well exceed its cumulative benefits.
Well, if
Also
you want to
not-
make a cumulative case, right, for religion as a whole, I mean, I can't do that analysis because there's lots of different religions, right? But you could do a religion by religion analysis. You could find ones that are better and ones that are worse using that analysis. I would agree with that.
I'm also not even 1% closer to believing that your God exists from all this. All I'm getting from this is that your religion exists. This does not provide me any reason whatsoever to think that the God exists.
Okay. Give me a hypothetical, and then we can because we're stuck on the empirics right now. And if you let me have the hypothetical, then I can give you a link, right? Is it okay if I do a hypothetical? Is that all right?
Is this
Go
going to be
ahead.
evidence for God's existence?
Doubtful.
Yeah. Why you would? Okay. So like if you had let's say there was a new initiative of someone who claims that God told them something, and through that
Claims.
claim that God told them something, they then develop a religious community that like is perfect at maintaining human rights, is perfect at making everyone as happy as possible, and they're able to do all these things because this guy said God spoke to them, right? Would that give you any like credence to the idea that God is real?
No, it gives me the idea that the belief in the God is real exists. Not that the God itself does exist.
The reason the belief exists is because a person said God spoke to them, right?
Like, they made the claim.
Nowhere,
if they had a mental breakdown and they had a God and they believe a God appeared to them in some sort of hallucination or whatever, and then the belief arose from there, and then the religion came from that. All this wouldn't tell me whether or not the God itself actually does exist.
Here's a better hypothetical. Let's say I am walking through the woods and I come across a lake. And I'm like, okay, this is a cool lake. And then I go back to the town and I say, hey guys, there's a mermaid in this lake. And this mermaid has told me all of these ways we should structure society. And people are like, what? And I'm like, just trust me on this, just go with me. And they're like, you know what? Fuck it. We don't got better shit to do. Let's just go with them. And through this mermaid, I build a utopia. Like it is a perfect society through the teachings of this mermaid. Is the mermaid real?
You would have very strong evidence to believe that it was, yes.
No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
You would have very strong evidence to believe that I, as a person, have good ideas. You would have absolutely zero evidence to believe that the mermaid exists.
Like people who are actually insane, they don't come up with ideas that improve society, right? People
That's
who are
not true
actually
at all.
insane,
That's not true at all.
Do you think that Muslims do any good in the world?
The same person who like made society better.
Do you think Muslims give charity? Do you think Muslims have good community and all that kind of stuff? Did Muhammad really receive a message from the angel Gabriel from Allah?
I think that there was some truth to it. There has to be some truth to it, right? I actually believe personally that Umar.
You think it's impossible that a guy just had a hallucination or he lied and just
Wait, I
stole
want to
from
go
other
back to this.
religions.
I want to go back to this insane thing. Do you know who John Nash is?
I don't know.
John Nash is a mathematician who put in a lot of work on like game theory. His like work has been
Oh, Nash
influential in
equilibrium.
how we run it, like economics. He had schizophrenia,
Mhm. Yeah, Nash equilibriums. Mhm.
so he was insane and fundamentally changed
He
for the
wasn't
better the way we
insane when
run
he
society.
invented Nash equilibriums, was he?
I'm sorry.
Was John Nash insane when he invented Nash equilibriums?
Yeah, he had schizophrenia then. Yes.
So ought we throw away Nash equilibriums because of his insanity?
There's no way. There's no way.
No, no, no. We
There's
don't
no
leave
way.
It would
There's
no.
no
It would
way.
just
There's
tell
no
us
way.
that
There's
any
no way. There's no way. There's no way.
all it would tell us, Talon, is that any unsubstantiated claim he made about if he was told by some entities that he received this information from them or whatever, that we wouldn't believe in. The ideas can be good, and it doesn't tell us anything about the origin source other than it's coming from a person. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm
That one
convinced
broke
that
me.
your
I'm not even gonna
religion,
hold you.
yeah, your
I'm
religion
very confused
exists.
about this idea, right?
Your religion exists. I will grant you that. I'm not even 0.5% closer to believing that your God exists from this argument. This is a bad argument for your God's existence. It might be my least favorite argument.
Okay,
Like,
you
look
can
at
just
the
say you don't like
trees.
it. Like, you got to give
Look
me
at
a
the
reason.
trees is a shit argument, but it's
Look at the
better
trees
than
is
this.
way
Talon.
better. Look at the trees is way better. Like what do they call it? Fucking aesthetics. The aesthetic argument. The aesthetic argument is way better than this.
Okay, you guys can keep just saying the argument's bad, right? But I need a reason why it's bad.
We've
right?
demonstrated.
Because-
Wait, it's not
because-
just about saying it. We've also demonstrated why it's a bad argument.
Yeah.
Well, let me
to be
demonstrate it from
clear,
evolutionary pragmatism. right? 'Cause
you've
you're
told me
basically denying
nothing
evolutionary
about.
pragmatism.
You've given me no reasons whatsoever to think that your God is real. Only that you've only given us reasons to think that your religion is real. I have zero
This
reason
is
to think
only
that if
true-
a
this is
religion,
only true if you-
I
if
have
you
zero
reject
reasons to
pragmatism
believe that if a
outright.
religion exists, then that God must also exist.
Obviously, I agree with that, right? Not every single religion's God is true, but that's only if you take a black and white view to literally everything and say that the Muslims are like abominable, satanic. I don't believe that, right? Like, I
Never
believe
made that
there's
claim.
truth.
Brother.
No. You're saying that
The
they
only
must
truths found in your religion is that
100%
people
false.
are the only truths that I can see that are found in your religion is that people are generous. I will grant that people are generous. It doesn't tell me that
Okay.
their generosity is coming from a God inspiring, like an actual real God inspiring it. Maybe an idea of God, but not an actual God in reality.
But you're making this distinction between reality and non-reality under your materialist framework or whatever empiricist framework you're
Brother.
using.
My
But those
God.
don't exist on the pragmatic framework, right? On the pragmatic framework,
Brother.
that which
I
is
could not.
selected
I'll
over
just
time
say
is real.
this: I could not give less of a shit about something being pragmatic. I only care about whether something is actually real. If it's demonstrable, that you can actually demonstrate its existence in some way.
If
All you've done is prove your
let's say
religion
I write a
exists.
book. Let's say I write a book, and this book has
Go for it.
like has an amazing story in it, and that story is about a magical woodland elf named Sylvester. And this magical woodland elf goes on many adventures. This is a long book, so he goes on many adventures, and in those adventures he learns kindness and empathy and sharing and all these things. And then I release that book and say, well, Sylvester is real. And people read this book and go, you know what? We want to follow Sylvester. We believe in Sylvester. And then all of a sudden the world becomes a better place. Is Sylvester, the little 2-foot green mini elf, real?
I would personally say no.
Why?
Because of other priors that I have. From
Why?
my
Pragmatically,
religious tradition, right?
it would make more sense that he's real, would it not?
This is attacking like a very like narrow version of pragmatism.
No,
Pragmatism
it
is
isn't.
much more expansive, right?
It's tackling the
Pragmatism
exact
has to
argument
include
you have
community.
used here.
No.
Yes.
Would you like me to restate my argument?
It is one-to-one analogous to your
You've given
argument.
as many reasons to believe that your God exists as to believe that Superman exists, because Superman does actually inspire me to do good in the world more than your God does.
This just sounds like such a straw man in my point. It's not just something is inspiring, therefore it must be true. No, it exists across the longest possible time frames, and it
Long as
enables
possible.
organisms to not die from natural selection and be able to be
God,
selected over
belief
time.
in your
That was
particular
selective
God has
nature.
probably existed for like at most 3 to 3.5 thousand years, which isn't that long on the human, as long as humans have been around.
It's much longer than our materialism. But that's even a detraction from my point. My main point was
Well, no, I mean, before
selecting
I would
for traits
say
over
that
time.
before
That was
the idea of
reality.
spirits were ever developed by humans, humans believed in the material world.
Wait, humans only believe in the material world? I'm confused.
No, I'm saying that there was a time when we developed the idea of spirits, and before that, we did believe in the material world because we experienced it directly. Our earliest ancestors were probably a lot like the Paraha people, which were one of the uncontacted tribes of South America, where they are very materialistic. They don't even have a word for God in their language. And like before our ancestors developed the idea of spirits and spirituality, they did have an understanding that the natural world around them existed.
The Praha people make my point in a wonderful way, right? The entire point is the Praha people haven't developed a massive, sophisticated society, right? They're an almost uncontacted tribe in the Amazon. And as people become more sophisticated, they need something like God to bind communities together, right?
Their community is very
substantiate that. Substantiate
their community
that
is
they
very bound
need
together.
No. Substantiate that they need the God to bound their community together. Don't just say that they have done it. Substantiate that they need to. You made two different claims here.
It is empirically true that societies that have religion are able to come together, right? This is even Rene Girard's argument.
Societies without religion able to come together?
Your claim was that they need it to come together. Substantiate the need.
Name one atheistic society that has developed over thousands of years.
I'm not. Wait. I'm not going to take your burden of proof. You said that they need religion to come together. Prove that. Substantiate that claim.
No, I said they prove my point.
Nope. No, you didn't. You said they need it. That's why I stopped you when you said need. If you want to change what you said, but your claim is that without religion, they could not have done it. So prove that.
I'm a pragmatist. If I said the word need, meaning like it's logically required, then that's wrong. But if I'll change it, we'll change it to in every single circumstance, it has been religious people who have developed complicated society. And people who don't have an idea of God don't develop they are stuck in the tribal stage. Is that a good amendment?
No. So there's not religious people who are stuck in a tribal stage?
I didn't say that it is. I didn't say that every single person who is religious is therefore in a complicated society. I only said
this is the most non-argument.
The problem is you're doing a causation correlation again. You're saying that all these that religion caused these complex societies to come into form. That's not the case. It just so happens to be that religious people made the societies. There's only a small correlation. There's no causation here.
I mean, to make that argument, you would have to say that the sun coming up tomorrow is not cause, because we only have all this evidence of it coming up in the past, but technically it couldn't come up tomorrow,
terrible
right?
rebuttal.
Tomorrow could be an illusion.
F minus of a rebuttal. F minus. That rebuttal receives an F minus from the judges.
Tell me why.
Because your claim was that in every single circumstance, it has been religious people who have developed complex societies. This claim implies that there is a causation between being religious and making the society complex. You have not demonstrated the cause. You only demonstrated a correlation.
There's actually a really good book on this topic. Was it Gunpowder? What's it called?
Germs
Guns, Germs, and Steel, which tells us that the progression of society has more to do with not with religion, but where you live and like.
Dalton, I got a great one for you. I got a great one for you. Dalton, real quick.
I've read it. It's good.
Dalton, would you agree with me that every airplane made before the year 1903 was built by people who wore shoes?
Yes.
Therefore, wearing shoes
These
caused
are just
airplanes.
straw men, right? Like,
it's not a straw
I don't think
man.
you guys could
It's
even
your
give me
exact.
the feeling of my
Again,
argument.
I'm going to read your exact words. I wrote them down. In every single circumstance, it has been religious people who have developed complex societies. Again, this implies that the religious people, the people being religious, is tied to what develops the complex societies, which would be directly analogous for me to say, in every instance, it has been people wearing shoes who built airplanes. Therefore, shoes cause airplanes.
My argument isn't an argument from sophistication. It's an argument from pragmatism, right? Pragmatism states that nature.
I need you to go back to philosophy 101 before you. I need you to go back to philosophy 101 before you try to have this conversation again. Holy shit! Goodbye.
Everyone should check out the book Guns, Germs, and Steel by Jared Diamond. It actually gives us a really good reason, not just correlation equals causation, but actually demonstrates the causation for why certain societies developed more than others, why we have some societies which are still tribalistic, and why some societies develop things like motorized vehicles.
It's mostly isn't farming like one of the biggest things tied to whether societies that develop like more complex agricultural tools.
The types of animals that are present, which are able to be more easily domesticated, and also the types of land which are able to be easily domesticated, has a huge part to play in the development of societies.
I'm getting a weird sick feeling in my body right now.
It's probably from the really shit argument we just digested.
Yeah, like a nauseous feeling. 219-327-8005. If you think you have a better argument for Christ or for God or for any of that, 219-327-8005. That's what I want to hear. If you have a better argument, then please, on God, do it. Please. It would be great. I also don't want to hear you sitting there going, impossible to have the right words if you get cut off every 5 seconds, because that's a bald-headed lie that we cut you off every 5 seconds, or I wouldn't have been able to write a complete fucking position from you. That's just a cope.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is this person coming up?
It's an office hours question, but it's about it. Nick, you got to call on a day where it's not strictly theist calls. So call back on a day when we're not doing just like strictly theism calls. Because
I was confused by that.
That's not a call related to theism, so I don't want to force Dalton to. But you know, pragmatism, right? Pragmatism.
Now I hate the word pragmatic. That in the calendar argument, my least favorite arguments for theism.
Oh, word. The calendar argument.
Yeah.
What year calendar do we use?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stupid as fuck.
I'm gonna be disappointed if fucking Talon is the only theist we have call in today.
That'll be a big disappointment, but it'll mean I can go take a nap.
True.
Sorry, I'm also making thumbnails for upcoming videos while we talk. Vamp a little, Dalton.
Guys, oh god. Okay, so guy, what we got here is convinces God is real. I don't think you'll be able to. I mean, you're definitely not going to be able to do it from pragmatism. The Christian God is good, guys. This God is evil as fuck. Read the Bible. If you haven't read the Bible, you tell me that making innocent women get raped because of something they didn't do is good. The Bible is true, not with all the scientific historical errors and contradictions and failed prophecies. Hell no, it's not true.
Jesus was prophecies.
Yeah, Jesus was divine. Now he was just a dude, and then the resurrection happened. He's a dead dude. if you disagree with any of these, you should call in. I'm a lot more tame on other people's shows than I am on my own show, so I won't, be as inclined to call you an idiot on Jovan's show as I
I
would on my
will.
own show. But Jovan will.
Shit, I will.
Oh man. Yeah, I'll tell you, one of my the things that actually led me out of religion altogether was something as simple as the fact that the Bible teaches that the earth is flat. And the fact that the science so obviously doesn't support that. Also, I remember I was lying in bed one night. I was like maybe 19, 20 years old. And I remembered learning that light had a speed. And because of the light had a speed, that meant that, well, since the farthest star we can see with the naked eye was 16,000 light years away, means I was off on the age of the earth by at least 10,000 years. And thus I began my deconstruction.
Light doesn't move.
It just gets put there by God magically.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Christians, another challenge for you is one of the things that led me out of Christianity and led me to Judaism before I left Judaism for atheism was the fact that Jesus didn't fulfill even a single prophecy from the Bible. Not a single one. And
What about the prophecy of being Jesus?
That you say it as a joke, but the funny thing is, I recently had a Christian say, "Yeah, he did fulfill a prophecy. There's a prophecy that the Messiah will come," presupposing that Jesus is the Messiah.
As far as I'm aware, Jesus was a virgin, so the Messiah never came.
Facts. I'll have to start using that in my debates.
Yeah, nailed it,
guys.
That he did.
I guess I'll show everyone. Guys, if you want to see something really fucking crazy, I used to be Catholic. Dalton for that. And when I was Catholic, I was an altar server. And here, one second. I'll show you guys a picture of me as an altar server. Oh. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Look at that.
Oh my God.
That's a real photo. That's a
I'm
real
keeping
photo.
my mouth shut because the only thing that I'll say here is mean.
No, say it. You can be mean to this guy. I'm 100% behind it.
That guy looks like he shouldn't be allowed near schools.
Listen, I think the only thing that saved me was the fact that I was too old for the priest. Yeah. Yeah, I was not on the menu. Catholics, what do you think about that?
Menu? Elite Scopes, thank you for the super chat. Once all meat is lab grown, vegans will have no ground to stand on. True. Alira the Free said, yes, belief in God is real. We don't disagree with their caller. True. Lemmy Head said, appreciate your style, Jovan. No BS. I just don't have the time for the bullshit. And Optopoppet said the vegans wouldn't eat lab grown meat because it's synthetic. Wait, for real? Aliro's, oh yeah, I read that already. Legend said Loki stopped pruning timelines so incursions can still happen, especially since he helped Steve and Peggy move to F4. But I got a different reading on that. And from watching Loki, it looks like God of Stories Loki makes it so the timelines don't have incursions anymore. But if I'm wrong on that, I'm wrong on that. Then that would make the movie better.
Someone said you'd be on my menu, Dalton. Well, thank you. The gown did it for you.
Oh. Yo.
If that's what you're into, I guess.
I'm fucking exhausted. Holy shit.
Let's see what else I got here. It's also just as embarrassing. Yeah, guys, I was bald. I don't think that's the most important thing to get from. Wait a minute. Me at my confirmation. And yet, in case anyone ever wants to doubt that I was actually ever religious, yeah, look, there's the proof for you. I was hella religious. Christians, I was hella Christian. And you know what made me leave? There was this book I read.
Oh my gosh, what was it called?
It's called The Holy Bible. This thing
my
made me
God.
an atheist.
Wow.
Yeah, the road to atheism is littered with well-read Bibles. Rusty says the Gospel of Matthew 24 verse 1 through 2 came true, fellas. Matthew 24. This is the destruction of the temple. Let me see. Matthew 24. There's unto the not yeah, there shall not be left here one stone upon another. Man, I hate to break it to you, but Jesus' statement, not one stone will be left upon another. Well, you know what? There's literally a whole fucking wall still up.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I don't know what do you think one stone left upon another means? Are you aware, to that Christian who just commented that Jesus said, and I quote, that there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man come in his kingdom. You know what? They all fucking died and Jesus didn't come back.
I came back. Ayo.
Hey,
My head hurts.
I came on back. Hello.
My head hurts.
You need a cookie, Jovan. Should I have that cookie? Should have had that cookie.
I am just exhausted. So my head hurts.
How-
But we're waiting on a
how
call
la-
to screen.
How late were you up last night? Did you at least get 6 hours of sleep? I'll take that as a no.
Anyway,
But it looks like we got a good call coming in.
someone we've talked to before. Potentially the two of us have talked to before, but who knows? Let's take it. I'll do the intro, then you can take the start of the call, Dalton.
Yeah.
Coming up to stream, we have Connor from Mississippi calling to talk about topic number 3. That is, the Bible is true. Connor wants to tell us the resurrection is true because of historic precedents. Connor, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
28, he, him.
Okay, Connor, we believe the Bible is not true. If you believe it is true, provide us the argument.
Yeah, Jovan, I called in a couple weeks ago and we had a conversation about it when the clip went up on your channel. People were saying it was kind of a nothing burger of an argument, which is totally fine because it was more just me kind of bouncing ideas off. But I really wanted to call in today because I was watching the stream and was really annoyed at the last guy, that Philbro, who was on, and also because
So were we.
when the last time I talked to you, it was just you and not Dalton.
Well, Dalton, it definitely knows more about the Bible than I do, so I'll let Dalton take the bulk of the call unless I hear something fun, and then I'll hop in.
Yeah, for sure. Dalton, would you mind if I ask, because I've heard you talk a little bit about your background and where you came from, like religiously. Would you mind giving me just like a quick in a nutshell, like why you know so much about the Bible, like your reasons for studying it and where you stand now?
I'm ex-Christian. I practiced Protestantism, Catholicism, and Judaism at different points in my life. And it was reading the Bible extensively because I thought this book came from God, so I read it extensively, and turns out that reading the Bible extensively was actually my downfall. When I found out Jesus didn't fulfill any prophecies, and that the Bible is scientifically and historically inaccurate and contained contradictions and failed prophecies, it was kind of like the death of my religion.
Yeah, sure. So do you still study the Bible a lot now? Like the reason why you're called the Bible guy?
Yes, I have to keep up, for my job.
Sure. Oh, what is your job, if you don't mind me asking?
This is my job. I do this for a living.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, so I'm calling in because I stand relatively apart from a lot of other Christians and other people in my, I guess, part of the country, deep in the Bible Belt. But I'm a Christian who also, I believe the Bible is true in a sense that it shows or talks about the character of God, but also definitely the character of God's, if we're talking about the Old Testament first, God's first people being the Israelites and how many things they got wrong consistently. And then, brings us to the New Testament where Jesus comes and tries to correct a lot of that. And then the rest of the New Testament is kind of where we went from there. So I would stand with you, Dalton, on that the Bible has contradictions. I don't believe it's inerrant. And I also believe it is not fully historically or scientifically accurate, because I don't think the Bible is supposed to be seen as a historical document, nor is it supposed to be seen as a science or a scientific document. It is a lot more complicated and just different from that. So that's kind of where I stand now. And so I would say the Bible is true. Sorry, go ahead.
What did you think Jesus came to correct?
Came to correct a lot of what, especially what the religious leaders were espousing at the time. So like the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And the reason he ended up getting executed was because they thought that he was blaspheming and he was challenging their power structures.
Well, to be clear, Jesus never said that what the Pharisees taught was wrong, and he actually confirmed their authority as biblical teachers. The only thing Jesus did correct was the fact that they were not doing the things that they were teaching.
I think in a sense, like I think that's a solid argument, but I also believe that there are a lot of things in which he was directly, quote unquote, breaking their law, but standing 10 toes down on it and saying this is how we love people, and you may follow the spirit, you may follow the law, but you're not following the spirit of the law. And so he definitely did a lot of things that were incorrect in that day.
The only thing Jesus had contention with, as far as all the things that the Pharisees were doing, was the ceremonial washing of the hands, which is not something found in the Bible. Otherwise, he was fully in line with the observation of the Mosaic Law.
I would say because he was a Jewish rabbi, that's how he started. And then once he started his ministry is when things really changed. I mean, especially the stories of when he did healings on the Sabbath. That was a huge thing that they really hated that he did.
That's not breaking the law of Moses, though.
It is, like doing any kind of work on the Sabbath. And there were, I can pull up the...
In Judaism, there's a
please
principle. In Judaism, there's a principle called pikuach nefesh, which means the preservation of life, that you are permitted to work on the Sabbath in order to preserve life, whether that's something as mundane as giving medicine to someone because they're sick, or in the case of Jesus, healing them, or something as great as going to work because you're an EMT. And that's why doctors, for example, are allowed to carry their pagers with them on the Sabbath if they're Jewish, because you're allowed to do work on the Sabbath that preserves life. Jesus is actually employing a Jewish principle in the Gospels.
Sorry, did I lose you?
What I say is that Jesus is actually employing a Jewish principle in the Gospels when he does those things on the Sabbath.
Sure. I can see that argument. This is a point that scholars debate a good bit on whether or not Jesus was a lawbreaker or not. So I guess you just stand on the side that he was not.
You kind of have to hope for the sake of your theology that he's not a lawbreaker, because 1 John 3:4 just says that sin is breaking God's law. If Jesus broke the law of God, he would be a sinner and thus would invalidate his sacrifice as the perfect Lamb of God.
Sure. Where I would kind of divert from there is that I do believe that Jesus is God. When he was on earth, he took on the manifestation of man, but he was God, and so was therefore able to change the laws. I mean, God changes his mind all the time in the Bible, and I think Jesus coming down to earth was one of those times.
Would Jesus be allowed to commit adultery or murder because he's God?
Not in accordance to. I guess that's a good question. I'd have to chew on that a little bit, actually. That's a good one.
Because if he's not allowed to break those
It would-
commandments, I would have no reason to think that he's suddenly allowed to break Deuteronomy 4:2, which says, "You shall not add to or take away from all the words of this
Yeah.
law."
Okay, I would counter that with saying that Jesus' entire ministry and all his teachings were bound around love. Going to the passage where they ask, what's the greatest commandment, and he says to love
And he
God, and then the
and he
second is to love your neighbor as yourself.
wait, where do you think Jesus get that from?
Actually, no, good. I don't know off the top of my head.
Those
Tell me.
those are direct quotes from the Mosaic Law. Deuteronomy 6:5, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength." And Leviticus 19:18, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself."
You said Leviticus what?
19:18.
18.
Like every Jewish person, every Jewish scholar I've ever met on this topic would agree that Jesus was staunchly Jewish and only observed the law of Moses, which is why I suggest that anyone who's actually interested in this topic should get a copy of the Jewish Annotated New Testament, which is, as you can guess here, it's a New Testament. It's been annotated by Jews, and not Messianic Jews, but actual non-Christian Jews. They're giving their perspective on the New Testament. Jesus was firmly in line with like the teachings of the Torah. So I would definitely say Jesus did not come to do away with any of that stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I guess I would also, one thing that I've been wrestling with is the passage in Hebrews where it talks about how the Israelites were under the old covenant, and then when Jesus came, it brought about the new covenant, and the old covenant will fall away because if the old covenant was perfect, then we would still have it. So, and I know that's not
that's the author.
in
That's
the
not
Gospels,
Jesus.
like
That's
that's not directly from Jesus.
Yeah, that's the author of Hebrews giving their contradictory opinion. Their opinion, which by the way goes very much against God's own words. In the Old Testament, the author of Hebrews says, and that's another thing, another contradiction for why I can't believe this book comes from a God. If this book comes from a God, I wouldn't expect God to say that the Levitical priesthood would last for all time, and then to later say, but it's been annulled.
Yeah, I mean, because I stand with you in that the Bible is not univocal. Like, I don't think the Bible came from God necessarily. I think the Bible was written by man, and it's flawed in the same way that man is flawed. It's flawed in the same way that the church is flawed, which then leads us to the obvious, like, okay, well, who do you trust? How do you trust the Bible at all? Hey, any of it is true. Why not just throw it all out? Which is kind of where I'm at right now, because I deconstructed pretty much everything down to the bones over the past few years, and I'm in the process of building it back up to try to do what I can to love God and love people. And so there's a lot of these are questions I just don't have answers to right now, because I no longer can believe that the Bible is univocal in that sense. And I know that's not an answer to your question or like a rebuttal or anything.
At that point, just be a deist.
I mean, I guess you could, but then it's like, what do you follow as a deist? Like, how do you know where to go from there?
Just use your own like ethical intuition. The same, I mean, that's what everyone does. It's better to follow your modern ethical intuition than following the ethical intuitions of ancient Bronze Age peoples who thought that, it was okay to stone women for simply not being virgins.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. Like, there are very few laws like from like Mosaic laws in the Old Testament that we would still be able to have a good case to morally follow today. Which is why, again, I think especially the Old Testament and the New Testament to a certain extent are just accounts of how many times we get it wrong, but God kind of working through his people in the same through that. If that makes any sense. That might not make sense.
I would just say the New Testament's the same thing. It's just men getting it wrong over and over again. They thought Jesus was a god. They thought he was resurrected from the dead, that he appeared to them, when in fact, more likely than not, it's just something as simple as bereavement hallucination paired with a collective delusion. I don't have any good reason to be a Christian if there's no really good evidence for the resurrection, no good evidence that Jesus was the Messiah, no good evidence that many of the things said and did by Jesus in the Gospels are even things that even occurred, especially when the Gospel authors have Jesus saying things that the historical Jesus would never have said.
Hmm. Hmm. I guess like where what I'm trying to figure out then is like why I don't know. Actually, I'd have a lot of questions that I should probably not like clog up the stream with because I'm still figuring it all out. So maybe I'll call back another time. But I really appreciate y'all, especially Dalton, talking me through all this.
Happy to help.
All right, thanks y'all. You have a good one.
You too. That ended up being more office hours from Dalton than anything else.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
boy.
so I don't get a lot of that. I'm used to people immediately crashing out and just yelling slurs at me. So that was a nice change.
You gotta
of pace.
open up an office. You gotta open up office hours times, man.
I should really, yeah.
People want it. People want the office hours. Chat. Let's get some more calls. 219-327-8005. One of like 4 phone numbers I think I have memorized is my call-in number here. I still have my original cell phone number memorized. Like I could call it right now, but I'm sure it's been long since given to somebody new. As well as I have my mom's original cell phone number memorized. And then this number. Those are like the 3 phone numbers I've memorized.
I think Matt perfectly summed this up. The Bible says this. Actually, it says this. Okay, well, I still believe it.
Yeah.
That does sum up a lot of the calls that I have.
That's the Christian worldview. We're slowly breaking them, right? Would you say? Would you agree that we're slowly breaking them?
I'm happy to report that I've had a couple people call in and tell me that I've helped them deconstruct. And that's more than enough reason to keep on going.
Dude, me and Jeff got a call yesterday from somebody who's largely been a troll in my chat for months, who is slowly becoming a communist because he watches our
Love
stuff.
that. Hell yeah,
so
comrade.
I'm counting that as a fucking win.
Yeah, take that, you capitalist pigs.
Trying to like get my videos. Do you guys like in chat? Put a 1 for yes and a 2 for no. Do you like that I try to get like uploads like out like a week in advance so that you can watch like a week's worth of debates ahead of time? Are we big fans of that? 1 if yes, 2 if no.
I love
Because I'm trying here.
I love having constant Jovan content come on my TikTok page.
I try to be very good about that. Everyone who put 3, you're not funny. You're a little. The first person who did it was funny. Every person who did it after that, you're not funny. Right now, uploads are good through, I think, through Sunday. So I'm going to try to get a full week ahead. I've got a new system that I do to edit videos, and my God, it's so much faster now that like I have no backlog except for what me and Dalton do today. So my backlog is all done, and I just got to get pre-uploaded. Also, I'm not making the Fred Hampton video. Vox already did it, and it's better than anything I would put out. So I'm not going to do it. Literally Vox already did the Fred Hampton video, and it is far better than what I would have written. So go look up Vox's video, Why the US Government Killed Fred Hampton. And there you go. That is the exact video I would have put out, almost word for word. So what are you using? Just myself and in a better sorting system, essentially. I am going to do the blackface video. And technically, Elon isn't a trillionaire anymore, so the Elon trillionaire video is slower than...
Oh, he's not a trillionaire. We went down.
He stopped being a trillionaire like a week after he was a trillionaire.
Well,
just because the market changed.
hit,
If I was
hit
gonna
a
make
moment.
an obsession video, just real quick, if I was gonna make an obsession video, it'd be a response to Alex Meyer's obsession video, which is a mind-boggling video put out from a creator I usually like. Go ahead, Dalton.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say he just had his moment in the sun of pointless more money to his pocket.
Oh, Elon.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the like when you look at it, it's just the way it's just the market stuff. Like he really technically wasn't a trillionaire, but he did have $1 trillion he probably could have borrowed against at that specific point in time.
God, so fucking worthless having that much money. It like physically makes me ill.
Yeah. I agree. We got some call screening. Let's take up our... Oh my gosh.
You looking at the same thing I'm looking at right now?
The first one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. All right, coming up to stream, we have Nick calling from DC to... I mean, he didn't give a specific topic, so we'll see what Nick is calling to talk about. Nick, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's he, him. My name is Nick, and I'm from Washington, D.C.
Okay, and your age?
Oh, sorry, 38.
Great. And which topic specifically were you calling to talk about, Nick?
Yeah, so, I'm not sure if this will be interesting to you, but it definitely is. I think it touches a lot of the different parts about religion you're discussing today. And so I'm not sure how familiar you are with Soren Kierkegaard, the kind of father of existential philosophy.
Are you calling in to talk about
but-
fear and trembling?
A little bit, yeah. I think like the Knight of Infinite Resignation versus the Knight of Faith archetypes that I think are like genuinely one of the most compelling and I think maybe just different approaches to Christian or any kind of faith. And I wasn't sure if you guys have engaged with that before.
It's basically divine command theory. Setting aside like one's like ethical intuitions because of like one's duty bound to God, and like about the leap of faith, putting your faith in this God and just doing what he says, even if it seems what they're asking for is irrational or immoral. It doesn't sound like a very good it sounds like something sounds like a way to justify any horrible action.
I don't know this enough to have an argument.
I don't know if that is necessarily the agreed upon interpretation. I'm open to hearing others, but my understanding was always not that you simply set aside your ethical scruples in service of
The
a divine
ethical is
command.
universal, and faith sometimes transcends ethics. I'm just reading like a brief. Faith sometimes transcends ethics. Ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah, that's a really good method.
Could I try to
for-
maybe?
Yeah.
Would you mind if I tried to take a swing at it and see if and if you think that my analysis is wrong, I'm open to it. But
Well, I don't know the actual text, so I can't do anything with that. Dalton might be able to.
I guess, sorry, if someone was talking, I didn't hear. I'd be happy to try to lay a very brief groundwork. I think it's less about just stepping aside and allowing all of your ethical intuitions and your baseline to fall aside, but rather it's actually the paradox of holding two things simultaneously. One being that I guess the sacrifice of Abraham's son is usually the example used, where Abraham was able to fully believe that if he were to follow through with this, that his child would die, while simultaneously having enough faith in God that he would intervene and things would be okay. Similar to maybe people that have a child diagnosed with terminal cancer, and there's that 1 or 2% chance of survival. They don't stop medical processes. They do all the things they would ethically want to do, but still in their heart, despite all facts to the contrary, they hold that faith that things will turn out in a different way. And I think that maybe while not always articulated by many religious people, they're actually kind of carrying that around. It's not that they're blind to their bias, but rather they're able to kind of account for the paradox and live their life.
But the problem is also the fact that Abraham is willing to kill his kid because of how much he trusts in God, that his trust in God is resulting in him doing something that is morally reprehensible. And if someone else were to apply that to their life, like, oh, I'm going to do this really, really horrible thing and just trust that God is going to pull through, that can lead to like all kinds of atrocities being committed.
I don't
I think
disagree with the fact that it was oh, go ahead.
I think the better story, a better example that we should look to in Abraham's story is not him killing his almost killing his kid, but when Abraham calls out God for being unjust. If it's true that mankind has participated in the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, we know the difference between good and evil, and we should be able to be like Abraham, in at least in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, when he says, "Will not the judge of all the earth judge justly?" We should be willing to like use our moral intuitions to call out even God if they made a claim that is ethically questionable.
So I think with the initial component of Abraham's argument here, though, is that he acts as though God has commanded him to do so. But the other side, the paradoxical side, is that he believes that God would never allow that to happen. I think would be Kierkegaard's argument. So he doesn't believe that that would ever occur because his faith is so strong. And I think it's an interesting kind of complex thing. I don't know that I'm capable of holding a paradox of that nature in my head, but I think it's one of the more compelling arguments for faith, generally speaking.
And what happens when people put that trust in God and God doesn't intervene and they do end up performing the atrocities?
So I think that atrocities are kind of low-hanging fruit. I don't disagree that they're vital for us to engage with. But I think what I'm more interested in is how that functions and when people walk around their day-to-day lives and basically think about their ability to simply get through the day as a conscious being in a very cold and unresponsive universe. I think that while it's not engaged with, because I don't think Kierkegaard is like an often read about individual based on, at least the U.S. academic system. But I think like what I see when I actually get down to the bones of conversations with many faith-based people, I think that's kind of what they're expressing. Like they know there's an irrational component to what they're doing, but like, man, the world is horrible and hard. And even if it's not right, like if they can hold on to that thing simultaneously and just kind of keep that faith, it's the thing that allows them to persist. Now, of course, it could be used for extraordinarily bad rationale as well, which is always my fear. But it's I just think it's an interesting and somewhat beautiful play on the traditional dogmatic faith argument.
I think it'd just be better to put your trust in things that we actually do know exist and that are good for us. And that overall belief in God has not been all that good for human beings. It's been quite regressive to us as of late.
Yeah, I would agree. Do you think when you said as of late, you added that, do you think that religion was necessary for the moral evolution historically, and now it's kind of just become a tripping hazard? Or do you think it has always been a bit of a hurdle we've had to overcome?
I don't know if it was necessary in the first place. I mean, human beings had communities before religion ever got started. Who knows? Maybe it was helpful in our early days to help, shepherd the people. I can't tell because I don't have access to that alternate timeline where it never got started. But I definitely don't think we need it anymore.
I think you and I would agree on that. I do think that there's better alternatives. The question is whether or not those alternatives allow for like normal human cognition to engage with it. And I think, as fact-based as you and I think I am, my question is there a better version of faith that we can push people towards that is a little bit more rational, at least an admission of the paradox that has people start to think more critically? Because I think it's the dogmatic component of it that makes it really, really hard for us to get past and seems to have an increasing resurgence in the new like fascist wave that we're seeing.
Well, I don't think that faith, as I understand it, being belief without evidence is ever okay. I think if what we mean is like trust, well, there are plenty of better things for us to put our trust in rather than gods and religion.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I just don't know if it maps onto most people's ability to kind of make sense of the world. It's, like
I
many of
think
us put our faith into other things. Oh, God.
I think that I know I put more stock and more I have a greater confidence level in human beings' ability to rationalize. I mean, I used to be extremely religious, very dogmatically bound to my belief in God, and used to look at the world through God tinted glasses. And I was able to, with the right education, pull myself out of the chain, the fetters of faith, and move towards a more rational and ethical stance. I think that and I don't think I'm special in that way.
So what do you think it was? I was skeptical from an extraordinarily young age. I was raised in the church, but got kicked out because I questioned too much. I'm always interested in people that had that kind of dogmatic streak and then transitioned away from it. Was there anything that, was there a stimuli or event or someone in your life, or do you think you were just kind of biologically lucky?
Well, I'm a determinist, so I do think I was always determined to end up this way because of certain cause and effect. But I just had the right influence, the right teachers, the right people that I looked to educate me on critical thinking and on how to develop my moral muscles. Um, I know you're listening right now, buddy, in the YouTube comment section, but when I was first deconstructing away from religion, watching a lot of Matt Dillahunty's videos online helped me to learn how to engage in my critical thinking apparatuses.
I will not be
And
glazing Matt like
yeah,
Dalton is.
but I'm just giving him his due because it did play a big part in my in developing of those muscles that I never, which were very atrophied from my engaging in Christian divine command theory. So yeah, I mean, I think having the right education, the right influences in your life, and anyone can get themselves out of that pit and become more ethically enlightened, if you, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I like to think the same thing, especially in today's information age, although it may have cast us into just opinion reinforcement and a new opinion exposure, which is, I think, a fear we probably all share. But, I think for me, I use Kierkegaard as a stepping stone for people that I find just really, really entrenched in dogmatic belief, because often, and I like Matt Dillahunty as well, it's just often if you take the Matt approach, I don't know how many conversions you get. It's oftentimes it can come across just kind of really rough. And I think Kierkegaard is this interesting middle ground where you first get them
Fucking
to
get
accept
called
a
out,
paradox
Matt.
exists. What's that?
Huh?
I'm sorry, I thought somebody said something.
Nope.
Oh, okay. So I was just saying that I think it's kind of more of a soft approach to initial conversion and thinking differently, and a stepping stone towards what I would say is eventual complete conversion away and into something else. And it's just not something I hear talked about very often.
I don't think it's necessary. I think people are more capable of change than we're giving them credit for right now.
I hope that you are very right. And often change doesn't happen live in the moment. It takes time to sink in. So I think I'm maybe witnessing some of what you're seeing, which is all the good arguments are on one side, but yet society seems to be slipping toward the other. And so I'm always trying to brainstorm different ways to bridge those communication gaps, I suppose.
Word.
But no, I think we probably have a point of consensus. And I know you guys like to have some good debates on here. So I don't want to hold you up, but I appreciate you taking the call.
All right, bro.
Happy to help.
Have a good one.
Another office hours question.
Yeah, but it's okay. The next one is a real debate. All right. Coming up next, we have Louis calling from Washington to talk about topic number 2. That is, the Christian God is good. Louis, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
How's it going, man? Age 39, pronouns. I'm just a man, bro.
So what are your man pronouns, bro?
I am a he, him,
Cool, great.
male.
Didn't ask what your sex was. Now, Louis believes the Christian God is good. We believe the Christian God is not. Can you convince us the Christian God is a good being?
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to meet you guys, and I think this is the first time I ever hear you guys. I just stumbled upon your guys' stream, and what was your guys' name?
Humongosaur.
Humongous. Great, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
I am Bibble guy.
Well, I would honestly say I don't know if I could convince you guys that God is good. I would say it would be through the power of the Holy Spirit and a heart who's willing to be who would be willing to receive that gift of eternal life. But
is this just a preach?
And I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I just don't know. I mean, you guys can say that, but I just don't know if you guys are like for that.
It
But
is going to be. It is going to be
um,
difficult. I'll tell you this: it will be difficult if we're talking about the God in the Bible, because that guy has
yes,
done.
I am talking about the
in
God of the Bible. Jesus.
Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that God is good when God has innocent women raped for things they didn't do.
True.
Okay. Sure.
Do you disagree?
No. Can you tell me actually what verse that is?
Yeah, 2 Samuel chapter 12 verses 11 through 12. Are you familiar with the story of King David?
Yeah, I am. Which one is it now?
2 Samuel
verse?
12, 11 through 12. God literally tells David that he's going to have his wives raped as a punishment for what he did with Uriah and Bathsheba.
Okay. You said 2 Daniel 3. You said what is it?
2 Samuel chapter 12,
okay,
verses 11 through 12.
Let me look this
God
up.
tells David that he's going to cause his wives to be pulled out and to be had by his neighbor. And then it turns out it's Absalom, his son.
And in 2 Samuel chapter 12, what verse? So
11 through 12. Verses 11 and 12.
Okay. Looking it up here.
I can just read it real quick. God says to David, "Thus says the Lord, I will raise up trouble against you from within your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight. For you did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and in broad daylight." And then David's wives go on to be raped by Absalom.
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, God is basically telling David, man, you have committed sin, and this is the consequence of sin.
Consequence? No, this is not consequence. It's not like this just happened naturally, like cause and effect. God literally says that he's causing this to happen.
Well, right. Well, when someone sins, you are basically taking the as a believer, and I would think most Christians believe the way I do, is that when you sin, you are saying, no, God, I don't need protection, or I want to do my will, and this is what happens. Is God will
God,
leave
I don't need your
own
protection.
God will leave you.
Leave you? He doesn't. No. Again, you keep positioning this as if
I'm
God's
not
just
saying
stepping back.
I'm not saying God will leave you.
Yeah, you're making it sound as if God just steps back and goes, "Okay, you wanted to sin, I'll just let whatever happens to you happens to you." No, God says, "I will raise up trouble." God is the cause. He is. If it hadn't been for God, it wouldn't have happened.
Let me read this. Can you read it one more time?
Thus says the Lord, I will raise up trouble against you from within your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight.
God is quite literally taking his wives, giving them to another man, and letting that other man have sex with them, whether the wives want. The wives have no agency here. They don't get a say.
Okay. let me see here. Let me read this again. Okay.
If you want to know the
Okay.
Hebrew, it says Ko Amar Yahweh, Hineni Mekum Alecha Ra'a Mivetecha. That word for I will raise up trouble. Mekim, it's in the Hefil stem, which is the causative stem. It's saying that God is the causation of this thing happening.
Okay.
It's not the natural consequence. This is something that if God hadn't have stepped in, would not have happened.
Okay. So then what should have happened to David then?
Not having
Is
something
God,
didn't
is
happen
God,
to David. Something, you know what shouldn't have happened?
well, no,
David's innocent.
exactly.
David's
Right.
innocent wives
So
should not have been raped for something they had no participation in. Maybe David should have been raped.
right. So
That's not great. That's not better.
Under the law, David deserved death and punishment for adultery and murder.
But God didn't do that to him. Instead,
but no, okay.
David,
but instead,
wait. Did
David
David get raped?
And God
Did David get
repented.
raped? He repented, and then
he did
God
not.
had
He did
David's
not.
wives raped. Why did David's
Right.
wives
So
deserve to get
David
raped?
repented. God forgave him. And I mean, it's very clear. And
What
just
did-
down
here,
that next verse
Luis,
in 13,
Luis.
it says that the Lord has put away. Wait, let me finish. The Lord has put away your sins. You shall not die.
Okay, Luis, what did David's wives do to deserve to get raped?
It was his sin.
What did they do?
Wait,
David's
hold on.
not the one who got raped.
Wait, please repeat that again. It was his sin, so God said, we're going to have your wives raped.
Yeah, should other people be punished for my sins?
No, I don't think so.
So
no,
why
I don't
is
think
David's
so.
wives punished for something David did? They didn't do the wrong. If anything, maybe you're saying David should have been the one who got raped because of what he did, but it's not what happened.
Correct.
David's wives,
Yeah.
who had no part, they're not the one. They didn't make David sleep with Bathsheba. They didn't tell David to have Uriah killed. They had no participation in David's sin, and they're the ones who get raped.
Correct. But we have to understand as well, David represented God's people as well. His actions basically had consequences not just for him, but the rest of the people.
Not consequences.
So
I mean,
God held him accountable. Well,
so God is punishing
that's what we're
innocent
reading
people
here.
for the sins of others. Is that just? Is that good? Punishing people who had nothing to do with the crime? If God was truly just, he could punish the person who did the wrong. Should the innocent be punished?
I would say in the same sense, the guilty, as in you and I, our punishment was taken upon Christ. Should we be innocent?
That's also not right. It's a pivot, and it's also not right. The cross is insanely unjust.
No,
what did David's wives do?
Wait, no,
it's also unjust.
Hold on. I'll do the paradigm. Yeah, it was unjust for God to have Christ punished for our sins. Yes.
Yeah, punishing the innocent
as
if they are the wicked, and then absolving the wicked as if they're innocent. Both are abominable.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
You agree that what happened to Jesus was abominable. You agree that what happened to David's wives was abominable. What God did was abominable.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was just. I mean,
it wasn't
even now.
No, justice.
Let me ask you, Louis. Let me ask you a question.
Wait.
Louis. Wait, Louis. Just a quick question. Is something good because God commands it, or does God just command things because they are good?
I think. Well, can you say that one more time?
Is something good because God commands it, or does God only command things because they are good?
Let me intake that one more time. Can you say that again?
Is something good because God commands it, or does God command it because it is good?
I feel if I pick one, it's kind of like a gotcha. I would say both, honestly.
You can't be
It
both.
physically can't be.
Why? I mean, that God is good. That's his nature.
Then what you're
Well,
saying
no.
is that things that God commands are good. When
Yeah,
God
you're-
makes the command, that's what makes something good.
Can you say that one more time? I'm having trouble hearing you guys. Say that one more time.
What you're telling me is that things are good because God commands. When God commands something, that makes it good.
Yes, it could. Yes, it could be. Yes.
then good is a meaningless word. You might as well say God is flipper jabber, and it has the same exact meaning as saying God is good.
Well, what do you
God
mean
could
by that?
have a woman raped for something she didn't do, and because God commanded it, it's good. Good has no meaning at that point.
Okay.
So what you're calling in to tell us about that God is good is a meaningless in your worldview. Doesn't mean anything. You're basically saying God is God,
Well, no, God is good.
but good doesn't mean anything in your worldview.
What is good?
When you guys like interrupt each other, it just kind of mumbling, so I couldn't really hear what you guys said.
What is good?
I would say it's him. It's God. That's his nature.
So if God is good and good is God, you're basically just saying God is God. That doesn't tell me anything.
Sure, if you want to put it that way.
That tells me nothing
sure,
about God.
You could say that.
That tells me nothing about God.
Is God.
I mean, that's his very. But guys, that's his very nature. The Bible tells us it's God's nature.
What's his very nature? God.
I mean, I don't know
How can it be? How can it? So right now you're being pushed up against something. You're claiming it's his nature that all he is and all he does is good, but at the same time telling us that commanding someone be raped is good. You think rape is good?
I could take that same argument you're saying and apply it to us. What I just did with Jesus.
No, you couldn't, because
I
we're
could
not.
say,
No,
yes,
you
I
couldn't,
absolutely.
because we're flawed
Well, I
beings. We're not all
absolutely
good
can.
beings.
I
Here,
would
let's
never
let me start. Let me ask you a question.
So we are
Let me
flawed.
hold on. Stop.
Well, hold on. Let me
Stop.
finish, 'cause I had a point.
No.
Let me finish, 'cause I had a point.
No.
Because you don't want to hear that.
No.
Because it messes up that argument that you're
No,
saying.
it doesn't.
The
You're
fact
comparing
that the
us to
punishment,
God.
our
No.
iniquities, our
Any
flawedness,
argument that compares
I'm
us to
not
God is a
comparing us
bad
to God.
argument.
You are literally comparing us to God.
Yeah, it is. Because
I would
we're
never
not
make
God,
the
and we
argument.
will not be
I would
God.
never, ever make the argument that just because
Exactly.
Jovan does something, it must be good because Jovan's nature is good. I would never make that argument. So you cannot turn it on us.
Let me just ask you a question. If I'm walking down a street and I see an alley, and there's this alleyway, and it's this dark alleyway, and I see a man at the end of that alleyway, and that man is raping a woman, and I know that I could stop this man from raping her with no harm to myself. I could just stop that from happening. Is it a good thing if I do it?
I would say yes, it would be.
Is it a bad thing if I don't do it?
I would probably say yes, it would be a bad thing. If you could do it, yeah, I would say yeah.
God sees thousands of rapes a day that he could end and he doesn't. So then he's doing bad. Because he could end that rape without any harm to himself or others, but he doesn't.
Okay.
So God is not all good if he does bad.
Well, the unfortunate thing here is that God is not in control of his beings.
He's not. He's not.
He's not in
powerful.
control of what you. No, he's not.
So God's not all
he's
powerful.
Not in control of you and I.
There are several stories in the Bible.
No.
God
Don't even go there. Don't even go there. Don't even go there, Dalton. Don't even go there. Louis is telling us God is not all powerful. That's what Louis is telling us. I can't wait to Louis. Tell me again how God is not all powerful.
No, what I'm telling you is that he created us with free will so that we could do how we please.
So, Louis, the
If
free
God
will
is
of a
able to
rapist is
control,
more important than the safety of a woman getting raped.
excuse me,
Louis,
Yeah.
is the free will of a
excuse me,
rapist more
excuse me.
important than the safety of a
Okay,
woman getting
well,
raped?
I mean, okay, well, again, you have free will to do that. Anybody has free will to do whatever they want. You could do good.
Not that woman.
So
Her free will's
God
being
is
taken
God
from
is,
her.
so
Hold on,
hold
Dalton.
on. So is God only good when good things happen?
Louis, I'm going to ask the question again. Is
Answer
the
the-
free
I'm gonna
will
ask you
of the
question.
rapist? I don't know
Can I
why
ask
when
you-
I don't know why when we're
excuse me,
walking down
excuse
a
me, is
dialogue tree of mine that
God
you think it's
only
your turn to
good?
ask questions.
Is God
I don't know
only good
why.
when
Yes, a
when
being
good
that
things
is
happen?
yes, if a being that is all good does bad, then that being cannot be all good. Yes. You can't be an all good being if you do bad.
Well,
And
that
per your claim, not stopping the rape is bad. You are the one who said it was bad.
well,
So a being who does bad cannot be all good. No.
no, I'm sorry. I disagree with that.
How can a being that does bad be all good?
So okay. So God controls what you do then?
Louis, is the free will of the rapist more important than the safety of the woman getting
Okay.
raped?
I'll ask you the question.
Is the free God could
let's just
God
per
could
se
God could
in
stop
your
the rape?
in your
God
mindset,
could stop the rape without
your
removing the man's
mindset
free
here,
will. God could
let's just-
stop the
let's
rape without
pretend-
removing the
let's
man's free will.
pretend that you believe in
God
God. Let's
could
pretend that you
stop the
believe in
rape
God.
without removing the man's free will.
Let's
So
pretend
it's
that
a
you
stupid
believe in
question.
God.
He
So
could just
God
teleport.
controls what you do.
We've
then?
been arguing like what are you talking about? This has been an argument as if we're granting God is real in this scenario. God could
Okay,
stop the rape
so
without
God,
Louis. I don't know whose show you think you're on right now, but it's not the Louis show. So I'm answering your question
well, you
already.
just can't answer a simple
I'm
question.
answering.
No,
I've
you
literally
can't.
answered
You're
it.
not answering it.
I've literally answered it. God could stop the rape without removing the man's free will. Therefore, free will has nothing to do in this equation. The equation is, should God stop
it sure does, because God made
Could
good
God
world.
stop the rape
Okay,
without ending the man's free will? Yes or no?
Made
Yes
a
or no?
good world.
Yes
It's
or no,
very
Louis?
clear in the Bible.
Yes or no,
God
Louis?
saw what he made it.
Muted. I can't handle the fact you're muted now, Louis, because you are a slimy little bitch who refuses to fucking engage. All you want to do now is go back to preach. If you want to have this conversation, you need to get your fucking panties out of your ass crack and answer the question that I'm asking you. That question is, could God stop this rape without affecting the man's free will? I'll answer it for you. The answer is yes, in a litany of ways. He could make the man fall asleep. He could make a dog come up and bite the man on the wiener, thus causing the man to pull out. He could make a cop show up, thus stopping the man. He could by chance make a plane fall from the sky and land only on the man, thus saving the woman. He could stop this in a multitude of ways, but he doesn't. And per your agreement, that makes God a bad being because he has done something bad. So my question to you, Louis, again, is could God stop this woman from being raped without affecting the man's free will? Yes or no?
Yes, he can. But
So why
when
doesn't
the
he?
moment he does that, he stops being God.
What? How?
Because
Make that
then
make sense.
he
How?
is.
How does
Hey,
him
well,
teleporting a man?
Can I
How would him
Can I
teleporting the
speak?
rapist away from the rape victim suddenly make
I
him
speak?
not God anymore? Make that make sense.
Well, because he created us with free will. He created a good world when, unfortunately, we have sin.
Goodbye,
and
Louis.
there's corruption.
Goodbye.
Got paid to boot.
Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck you.
Louis is the
It's unfortunate this woman has to be raped, but humans are just so bad that God wants us to be raped. So it sucks for her. Fuck off.
literally. This is the problem with the rape thing, is that no matter what happens in the situation, someone's free will, if you believe in that sort of thing, is being taken away from them. Either the woman's free will is being taken away from her by the rapist, or the raper is having their free will taken away from them by God. God just cares more about the free will of the rapist over the rape victim.
Anyway,
Also-
fuck Louis.
I love this super chat. God told me to pay to boot. He was bored. True story.
What a fucking scumbag. That's why I like
Yeah.
that question. I don't know. I heard that question from Carbon. I don't remember if Carbon got it from somewhere. Jeff could tell me, probably. But I love that line of questioning because it's so easily pinpoints that God physically can't be all good.
Impossible. Yeah. First
So I
time I
give
ever
the
heard
rapist
it.
his free will, so God can snap his fingers and teleport the rapist 5 feet away.
Yeah. Teleport a cop to be right there. Make the man fall asleep. If I don't think he would have said that I'm taking away the man's free will by shooting him with a tranquilizer dart. God could do the same thing.
So dumb. These people. Hey there, you. Hey there. Is that a Carbon original? W Carbon for coming up with that thought experiment. What are you doing?
First time I ever saw it was on, I don't know if you know who Dark Matter 2525 is. He makes cartoons about atheism, theism, stuff like that. But he had a video about Superman could stop a rape victim from being raped, and that God just stands by and doesn't do anything. And how is God good and Superman good at the same time? Sort of situation.
Okay, so this is going to be kind of a dark question. Okay. What do we think? I don't want to ask this question. Never mind. But I'm really curious. So Superman can basically hear everything that goes on the globe, right? Like his super hearing is that good that he can essentially hear everything. 2 caveats here. One, how does anyone get away with any crime when Superman can just be like, I heard you? But 2, that means Superman essentially could hear. He does have to concentrate. You're right. So that might answer the question. I'm wondering what the rape statistics are in Metropolis.
Oh, God.
You know what? We can just use murder instead. What are the murder statistics in Metropolis? Let's just use murder. Because couldn't Superman technically hear all murders?
I mean,
and is he fast enough to stop all of them? And what is the murder rate in Central City? Because the Flash is faster than Superman.
We could ask. I'm sure the Daily Planet has some stats on that.
People are calling in. Please, we know Gotham has murder rate. Gotham and Metropolis sit across the river from each other, by the way. Like
that is also crazy.
It's fucked up if Metropolis is or if Gotham is as fucked up as it is when Superman can see Gotham from his front door.
Is that true?
I don't know if that's in every
versions of-
I think that's just the fucking I think
movies.
It's just the Snyderverse that made Gotham and Metropolis literally New York and New Jersey.
Yeah. I'll say this though, at least in a lot of the media I watch, Superman has to, in order for him to hear everything, he has to go up really high into the sky, and then he just, I don't know, opens his head or mind or whatever to the sounds, and otherwise he doesn't hear everything at once.
Batman tells him to stay away. No, he doesn't. Because that would be really stupid.
Get the fuck
Batman.
out of my city.
Hey, I know you could solve all of this shit in an afternoon, but don't you come here. Because I want the bad stuff.
I don't know. I think Joker might give Superman a run for his money.
Depends on the version of the Joker, and depends on the version of Superman.
The Injustice version of the Joker,
I
absolutely fucked Superman.
Fun fact: I kind of don't like Injustice Superman.
Oh no, neither do I. I don't like any version.
Injustice works. You ready for a really hot take? Are you ready for a really fucking hot take? Injustice works really well for the Snyderverse, and it doesn't work well for almost any other Superman.
Yeah, I don't like any version of Superman where he's like evil.
I'm fine with an evil Superman, but not if he's raised by the Kents in the way that the comics raise him by the Kents. Like a Superman that's raised by the Kents in the way that he always is would never, just because Lois dies, would never become a homicidal maniac. It's just not a thing that Superman would do. However, if he's raised by the Kents the way the Snyderverse raised him, yeah, he'd probably snap real fast. He'd probably snap hard. That death would send this motherfucker loose.
the Superman who impaled a diesel trucker's car on a pole. Yeah, he definitely would do that.
I fucking hate an angsty Superman. Get the what are you doing?
David Cornsweet's my favorite Superman of the modern
Because he's
films.
objectively the best one.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly why I love Superman.
I do think
because
Tyler Hoechlin, is that how you pronounce his name? I do think he
I
gives
think
him
so,
a
yeah.
run for his money in terms of like, acting and
He-
stuff.
he's
Oh,
TV's
in-
best Superman.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. But Superman's meant to inspire hope, and I don't get that from
Which is crazy because you could have just avoided that, Snyder, by just not having that line in there. Well, it's a symbol for hope on my planet. You're the least hopeful motherfucker in the. You let a room full of people explode, and you sat there looking sad like you couldn't have stopped it. You're Superman. You could have stopped it easily. Stupid.
God, look at one of these calls coming in. It's gonna be really good, I'm sure.
All right, well, let's take this. Oh my God, we're just back to this. We're back to this. Okay, Dalton, you want to try doing an intro?
We doing which one, David?
Yeah. You do the intro.
All right. We got David calling in, age 23 from Colorado. Looks like David wants to talk about how he thinks Christians do the majority of good in the world. David, what pronouns do you go by, David?
He, him.
What other question do you got to ask, Dalton?
What's the other fucking question? I already
Jesus.
forgot.
Okay,
My
David,
ADHD
your age, please, David.
Oh, 23.
23.
Okay, but I don't. Okay.
Oh,
Dalton,
all right.
You
Okay.
gotta. I feel like you've watched me do this multiple times.
I'm hardly paying attention.
Good Lord, David, we believe that God is not good. Do you have an argument that can convince us that God is in fact good? The Christian God specifically.
Yeah, so I was just listening in, and I know that. So one of the questions I had for you guys, I assume that you don't believe that the Bible is true, correct?
Correct, but I'm
definitely
willing
not.
to grant it in terms of the argument because we're arguing from the perspective of God being real and in this debate.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, if you go through the Bible and you nitpick all the things that you can find that are wrong with it, you can do the same thing with the things that are good. And I feel like if you don't believe that the Bible is true, I don't understand what the point of taking the nastiest thing you could find and arguing it as truth.
There are
Do you
more
think
bad
it would-
things that God does in the Bible than good things.
But just real quick, do you think it would be silly if we were debating who's like worse, Darth Vader or like Darth Sidious?
Yeah.
Why? It's just fun. These are
We were
fictional
just not-
characters, and we
Yeah.
like to argue
We were-
about fictional characters.
We were just arguing about which
Okay.
version of Superman sucks ass and which one was good. Like, you're able to talk about fictional characters
Okay.
and give a moral character assessment of them.
Okay. That is valid. So what I would like to try to do, rather than nitpicking certain scriptures, I would just like to come at it from the ground level and just pick your guys' brains on what I personally believe. And what I personally believe is that in the Old Testament, there's a lot of things that God may have done that weren't great or that we can't understand as humans. But ultimately, I think Christianity is responsible for the Western civilization that you two both enjoy today.
Ugh, not this argument again. Fuck me.
Okay,
It's the same principles
I'm
that
just
got our
gonna.
society to where it is today.
Yeah. Can I walk you through a couple of positions?
Please do.
Great. I'm trying to see which of my notes I wrote this in. Hold on, because I'm writing like 50 million things in 50 million places on my notepad. I should not use notepad, right? It's probably not the. Okay, here we go. Do you agree with me on this premise? Religion has been a significant cause for numerous large-scale human rights violations across the globe. We can specify Christianity as well.
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
Okay.
I'm not super well educated with that, but I would assume yes.
Yeah. Would you agree with me that many of the major social benefits that we get from Christianity can be given from non religious institutions such as education, charity, hospitals, things like that?
I don't believe, I mean, it's definitely possible, but I think that the root is so much stronger.
You think the root is so much stronger based on what?
Based on people's heart postures that do choose to serve, like all those organizations that you had mentioned, they're all getting paid. But when you look at Christians, a large majority of them are just doing it out of the kindness of their heart.
How do I quantify heart structures? It feels like an unquantifiable metric that you're giving me here.
I guess you could quantify it by saying, what are you receiving in exchange for the acts you're providing?
Well, I would argue churches receive tithing. They receive
Also,
tax benefits.
also Christians do believe that Christ brings rewards for the goods that are done.
Yeah, they're not just doing good out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it to earn their way into the kingdom of heaven.
Especially since I've
That
had
isn't
so many
true.
Christians call.
No.
I've had so many Christians call in and tell me, if God's not real, then why shouldn't I go around just raping and murdering people, as if they are just these rabid dogs on leashes? No, but Christians do believe that, Jesus said, "I am coming soon, and my reward is with me." Like, there are rewards that Christ
Yes,
gives to those who do the good.
yes. And this is the point of what the Bible teaches. And I'm not trying to preach. I know you guys, it's just like nails on a chalkboard, but it's just what I believe. These rewards come from living a life in accordance with God. When you choose to be kind to your neighbor, when you choose to be loyal to your wife, like, your life becomes extremely fruitful. It's not saying, if you go do 2 hours at church on Sunday, I'm going to get you a new car. That's not the message.
No, I've had Christians and I had churches that I grew up in where it's like not just earthly rewards, there are also heavenly rewards, treasures stored up in heaven, as Jesus would have put it. That there are heavenly rewards that one will receive in the world to come for the good that they do here, which is part of the motivation for doing the good here. If Christians thought that there
Yes,
was no
but
afterlife, you think if Christians thought there was no afterlife, that they would continue to act the way they do?
you mean being kind?
Yeah, like they would be kind, but
Or
not because of their religion. I'm kind. I don't have a religion. I don't have an afterlife where I receive rewards. I still do kind things. People who are kind are going to do kind things irrespective of their religious devotions. And people are going to be shit irrespective of their religious devotions. I will tell you, though,
yes,
if you
and
want to
I
make a good person do bad things, give them religion.
okay. Well, piggybacking on your point, I think that it is completely valid, but I don't agree with the fact that you think that religion makes people do bad things.
It
There's tons
doesn't?
of bad things that
Like,
religions make people do.
9/11?
yeah, but that's the thing. What has it made Christians do specifically? Because that's a
Martin
whole other
Luther.
rabbit hole. I
Do
personally
you know who
believe,
Martin Luther was?
yeah.
Ever heard of his? Have you ever heard of a book that he wrote called on the Jews and Their Lies, where he
You ever
called for the
I
extermination of the Jewish people, for the burning down of their synagogues? The book that was served as the inspiration for Adolf Hitler.
you ever hear of the Crusade?
Wait a minute. Did you just say a book MLK wrote was inspiration
Not
for
ML,
Hitler?
not
Or
Martin Luther
inspiration
King
from him?
Jr., not Martin Luther King Jr., Martin Luther, the Protestant reformer. Jesus.
That is so funny, Jovan. You are a 30-something-year-old man. Maybe you should grow up.
It was
33.
funny.
Yeah, very funny. Can we talk about the point, please? Can you
Yeah,
grow
Martin
up?
Luther, not Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh,
died for our
I'm
sins.
so
No, Martin
okay. Yeah,
Luther
you
wrote
going?
a book, an anti-Semitic work that served as an inspiration for Adolf Hitler.
Okay, where was the religion in this?
On the Jews,
Huh? Why
do you know? Maybe if you
why are
actually
you
read
linking
his
this up?
works, like Martin Luther was inspired by the Gospels to be anti-Semitic. He believed that the Jewish people were
I
cursed by God because the Jewish people at the crucifixion said, "If we're wrong, let his blood be upon us and upon our kinsmen." The Gospel of John also says that the Jewish people were the children of the devil, and the Book of Revelation calls them the synagogue of Satan. This has been like the origin of most anti-Semitism in the world comes from Christianity.
why
Catholics
do you
used
think
to
that
teach
is?
that. Why? Because the New Testament authors were pretty anti-Semitic. At least the Gospel of John's author was really anti-Semitic.
And okay. So where is it that you're going with this? Like you think that
The
because of a man
anti-Semitism is a
who doesn't
bad thing.
understand the scripture.
And
Yes, I
I understand the
agree.
Bible.
But
I understand the Bible 100 times better than you ever will, kid. All right. Now the the majority of anti-Semitism in the world is because of your religion. Yes, where
okay,
does
but that's
Christianity
because
do
it's
bad? That's where.
okay. Can I speak, please?
Yeah.
I'll let you go on. So what you had just said, that is a man taking the Bible and turning it into his own interpretation and doing what he will with his own free will. That's not what God would have wanted.
Christianity doesn't religions don't do anything. Religious people do things, and rich Christians have done all kinds of horrible atrocities because of their religious beliefs.
Moses committed an entire genocide because God specifically told him to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, all of this was in the Old Testament.
And Jesus
So
affirmed the Old Testament.
God still did it.
Yeah.
You said what?
Malachi 3:6, I, the Lord, do not change.
But he had to carry out his works. He's still the same.
Yeah.
It's a
Do you think it's
process.
okay to kill someone for telling a single lie?
I don't, but I'm not God.
Because that's in the New Testament. Ananias and Sapphira
Okay.
told a single lie. Told him, I gave you all the money for the house that I sold. God struck him down dead.
Did you
Not
listen to the
great.
call
Okay.
before you, David?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I were to ask you the alleyway thought experiment, what would your response be?
That part I don't remember.
Okay.
The alleyway thought.
Let me walk you through it.
Start.
If I'm walking down a street and I come to a dark alleyway, and at the end of that alleyway I see a man raping a woman, and I know
Okay.
that I
Jog
could
my
stop
memory.
that
I
rape.
remember.
Great. I know that I can stop that rape with no harm to me. Is it good if I do it and bad if I don't?
Let me stop you right there. So, from the beginning, like the exact same thing the other dude was saying, but he never drove his point home. Free will. When Satan fell from heaven, the earth is now under
We're not-
Satan's rule.
Just like the last
And
guy, we're not talking about free will.
everything-
We're talking about God stopping someone in the middle of an action.
Yes.
Yeah.
this
It's not
the
removing
point.
someone's free
He
will to
will not-
stop someone in the middle of an action.
Okay. Even if he does, he's not going to stop the action, but there will.
Because he's
be
not good.
justice.
What
Yeah.
justice does
No,
the
he
woman
is
get?
good. There will
What
be
justice
justice.
does
There
the
will
woman
be an
get who gets
eternity.
raped?
What is she? What? No justice. She's not guilty of anything.
So she doesn't get,
Her-
she's
her
not getting any
is the
justice.
kingdom of heaven.
So there's no justice. God gives no justice for the victims of crimes.
Yes, she does. She will be in the kingdom of heaven.
She would be in the kingdom of heaven whether she was a victim of a crime or not. I'm talking about what does she receive as the victim of a crime? Do victims not deserve justice?
They do.
So what
Yeah,
is her
they do.
justice?
Whatever happens on this earth, God
Brother.
isn't going to come down and correct every right and every
Jesus
wrong.
Christ.
There will be
What
judgment.
What
once
a
everything has
statement to
come to
make
pass.
that perfectly fits within a godless universe. Yeah, sure. The justice she can receive for on earth from judges, but what justice is God going to give? What if this man gets away with it? He never gets identified.
I
What
don't think
justice
he
does she get?
will. I don't think he will. God always finds a way to get somebody what they deserve.
That's not true. There are plenty of people
I
who
promise.
there are
Yes.
literally plenty of cases where people do crimes and they never get caught, and justice is never
Yeah,
served.
but they'll pay the price one day. They'll
No,
pay
they
the price
won't.
one day.
You don't know that.
How do you know that? You're
How
just
do
a
you know
man.
that they
You don't
will?
know that.
You made the positive statement that they
You don't
will.
know that.
Demonstrate that they will receive justice.
They will
Or
receive
do you just
justice,
believe
even
it?
if they. I believe that their life would suck, things would happen to them, like
How do
God,
you
they
know?
wouldn't be on God's good side.
How do you know?
It's what
I
I
have no
believe.
reason to think that
It's
God
what I
gives a
believe.
shit about. God doesn't give a shit about people raping other people. In fact, the only thing he really gives a shit about is that if you rape a woman, you gotta marry her.
That's not the truth. God
That is
does
the truth.
care.
That's literally God's word. Deuteronomy 22.
No, okay, if you want to go that route, we could. Hold on. But the whole reason I had mentioned at the start, there's so many different verses that you could go through and find the good things. Like if we could sit here for weeks on end talking about the good things, but naturally, all you guys are capable of doing is finding the nastiest things that
Do you think? Do you
I
think that
don't
there are
even
good
completely
things?
agree with.
David, do you think the people who knew Adolf Hitler could talk about the good things that he was able to do for them?
No, but what does that? No.
No, wait. You don't think that there are
Okay,
people who
hold on.
knew
The
Hitler
Bible
who wouldn't be able to
consistently
talk about the
presents
good
racism
things that
I'm gonna
Hitler
make it
did?
even Dalton. I'm gonna make it even simpler. I don't think a being that ignores every single woman being raped in the world is good. I think he's a piece of shit
Okay,
because he
so it's
ignores every single
God.
woman being
Okay,
raped in the world.
okay. So if you're going to take that verse, I have another verse. 2 Samuel 13. One of the clearest examples in the story of Tamar in 2 Samuel 13 is where she is raped by her half brother. The act is portrayed as wicked and devastating. Tamar
And how
pleads with Anna not to do it, and afterwards she is left desolate. The law distinguished rape from consensual sex. Deuteronomy 22 through 27 addresses the
is
case in which a man
wild.
assaults an engaged woman in the
This is
countryside.
insane.
The law says that the
No
man alone
way.
is guilty and deserves death because the woman cried out and no one
What
rescued
happened?
her.
Okay, wait.
The woman
What happened to the?
is
What happened to
declared
the?
innocent.
Wait. What about David's wives? 2 Samuel chapter 12.
Yeah,
What did
I
they
actually
do to
heard that,
deserve?
and with that
What
point,
did?
where
What did
does
they
it
do?
say that they were raped?
Oh yeah,
Where
okay,
does
yeah,
it
easy.
say that they were
That's easy. It's easy. That's easy. Okay, watch this. I'm gonna walk you down a path. As long as you're honest, you shouldn't have anything to be afraid of. What's the punishment for raping
Okay,
a woman? Sorry, not for raping a woman.
death.
What's the punishment for a woman who consensually has sex with another man while she's married?
You mean, I don't know, adultery? I
Yeah,
don't
what
know.
happens if
don't
you
know.
commit adultery as a woman? You're married to a man. You commit adultery. What, according to the law of Moses, what's the punishment for you?
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint.
Not
There's a
good,
really
I
famous
assume.
story in the New Testament about Jesus stopping it from happening. What?
No idea.
You don't know the Bible that well. You don't know this book all that well. An adulterous woman is stoned to death, right?
Yeah. Old Testament.
What happened to David's wives who were living under the Old Testament? Were they stoned to death?
No. I don't think they
No.
were.
So that means that it wasn't consensual. They did not engage in consensual sex with another man that wasn't their husband. If they were not stoned to death, it's because they were raped. God caused these women to get raped.
Okay.
Why? What did these women do to deserve to get raped?
I still don't know if I can completely agree with the fact that they were flat out raped. Like, it was a completely different world back then. If you were
Nope,
alive,
it's not a completely
you were,
different
that's
world.
just,
It's not a completely different world, even by your own admission.
no, it was.
We know what happens to a woman who consensually has sex, and it didn't happen to these women. You're just stubborn.
I don't think I am. This was a direct act of God.
A stubborn person doesn't think they're stubborn. Of course you'd say that.
Okay.
You've been
Well,
presented with a
whole
clear
reason-
line of thought. Well, okay. In my syllogism, premise number 1, a woman who commits adultery is stoned to death. Premise number 2, David's wives were not stoned to death. Conclusion, David's wives did not commit adultery. They were raped. Where is the problem in my syllogism?
Oof.
That's a good one. I guess there isn't a problem.
Therefore, David's wives were
But-
raped. What did they do to
Oof.
deserve it?
This is Samuel 21 through 22.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 11 through 12.
Well, they were made his wives.
What did they do to deserve to get raped?
They weren't raped. They were.
Yes,
his
they were.
wives.
By your own admission, they were raped.
God had given them to the other man. He
Did
made
they
them their
want to go
wives.
to the other man?
Therefore, they were not raped.
Did they want
How
to
do
go
you
to
know
the other
that?
man?
I don't know that. Do you know that?
Yes, you do know that,
wait,
David.
wait. Are you telling me that, like, are you in a relationship at all, David?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I said tomorrow, well, I'm going to send you to a new relationship with a new person, would you want that? Or would you want to be married to
No.
or would you want to be in a relationship with the person that you consensually got into a relationship with?
Probably the person I consensually got in a relationship with.
So then why would his wives magically want to be with somebody else unless their free will was taken or they're being raped?
Because you can't deny the fact that the world was just a completely different place back then. I bet
That didn't
his
answer.
You
wives
can't-
originally didn't
You
even want
can't
to be with
deny,
David.
David, that
I
according
bet
to the
his
law of
wives didn't
Moses,
even want to be with David
wait.
originally, let alone
Oh,
the
now
second
you've hit
man.
on a beautiful point. In all actuality, David's wives were most likely concubines, forcibly made to serve him both in life and sexually, which God allowed and said you can have these women as sexual servants for you. So that doesn't make your point any better. It's just telling me that God allows for sexual servants, like he did with Moses in Numbers, when he tells Moses to take child sex brides for him and the Israelites. So it's not making your point any better, friend. It's telling me God really does
No, I
not
don't
respect
think it
women's
is.
autonomy.
I think God does respect women's autonomy. If you look at the world today and look at the way that the West is now, I would say that it definitely respects women's autonomy.
The
I would
way the
argue
world
that
is
it-
today has nothing to do with God.
I disagree. I think he's the one that shaped Western civilization
Based on what?
based on history, based on
What history?
Jerusalem to Rome to like
Romans weren't
everything.
Christian.
we definitely don't treat
Yeah,
our
yeah, they
women the way
were.
the Bible says we should be treating them. In our society, post Enlightenment, women are considered not property. Biblically, they are
Property.
property.
Is that in the New Testament?
That's the Old and New
Here's
Testament.
my issue. Here's my issue when people do this Old Testament, New Testament thing, is essentially you're saying God was an abusive father who all of a sudden stopped beating us and now tells us he loves us and we should forgive him. No.
Yeah.
You beat the shit out of us.
No, that's
No.
not the point. That's not the point. It's the world evolves.
God doesn't.
Does
Because
God?
God's never changing, per the Bible. God doesn't change.
No, he is changing. He is changing. He's
So
That's
wait,
very
the-
wait.
different from
When
the
when
Old
Malachi
Testament to the New
3:6,
Testament.
I the Lord do not change, that was just a lie.
You as a man, you don't understand. It's like
I don't
it's-
understand. Which one of
tends
those
to
words
be
did
the
I not?
apologetic cop out is
Yeah.
just you don't understand.
Which one of those words don't I understand?
Okay.
I, the Lord, I first person pronoun, the Lord Hebrew Yahweh, do not. This is a negation, and then the word change. Which one of these words am I misunderstanding?
You're not misunderstanding any of them. What you're not understanding is the bigger picture in how the world was different. God doesn't change, but the world does. The
So
world
now
is a
God
completely
doesn't
different
change.
place.
So then God is as
The world is
vindictive
a
and evil
completely
as he
different
used
place
to be.
again.
God is as
No, he's not
vindictive and
vindictive and evil. Look around.
God's not.
When you see
Was
homeless
God a
people on the
vengeful
street,
God?
who's feeding them?
Was God vengeful in the
Ask me
Old
that.
Testament?
Answer my question. When
Food Not
you go
Bombs does a
around on
lot of good
Christmas
feet.
and
Yeah,
you
Food
see
Not
homeless
Bombs does great.
people, who is it that's serving people?
People.
Christians.
People.
No,
People.
Christians.
Christians are not the only ones serving food
Anybody
at
else that's
Christmas.
serving is
You
getting paid.
absolute
Fun-
idiot.
Christians
fun
do
fact-
it out of the kindness of their heart.
Okay, goodbye.
No, they don't.
Goodbye. That was a really stupid way to end your argument. That was really not smart. See ya.
The silence was deafening.
Shout out to Centaur for GTFO from Australia. God is painted as a vengeful God in the Old Testament. It's literally described as such, isn't it? That he's a God of vengeance.
Yep.
And fear.
And before any Christian calls in and asks us some stupid shit like, was that older New Testament? God in the New Testament is infinitely worse than he was in the Old Testament. At least in the Old Testament, when you died, you were dead. Everyone
Also,
went to
how
the
can
same
you
place.
how can you be a never changing God if you change between testaments?
He went to therapy. Therapy does wonders, even for
God
non-changing people.
went to therapy. Oh shit, that's funny.
After the divorce, he really needed it. He went to therapy. Had
After
a
the
kid.
divorce?
Yeah, with him and
shit.
Ashera. Yeah, that's
All
why
right,
he's
this
so
is our last
anti-woman.
call. This is our last call. This is a final call of the day. Coming up next is Oscar from Florida to say that our definition of good isn't what is good. Oscar from Florida, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
30, he, him.
Okay, Oscar, 30, he, him. Oscar, are you going to tell me right here, right now, today, that whatever God says is good is quote unquote good?
So, yes. First of all, the last conversation that you guys have been having, super interesting to hear you guys' arguments. And it made me want to call in because that is a legit postulation that you guys are bringing forth. Hey, if God is all good, how can it be that rape happens? And how can he allow that? And I think that's a legit question that merits being answered. So I do think God is all good. I do think God is all good. I do think that our understanding of what goodness is different to what he would define as goodness. And
Yeah,
I think that
it doesn't mean
brings-
anything in your worldview. I agree.
Because, like, and this is a dumb example perhaps, and it might create even more problems me going forward. I'm not really putting a lot of thought as I'm going in. I just have trust that I'm knowledgeable enough to, even though you guys might win this argument, I'm knowledgeable enough to have a conversation with you guys. For example, if you have a loaf of bread, right? You know, for loaf of breads to grow, they need leavening. Well, leavening in itself is corrosive in a way to the bread and the ingredients inside the bread. So a bread in itself might consider the leavening an agent that is evil against it, but for a baker, it is good because it helps the bread grow and hence bring forth what the baker wants.
How
So can really a creation.
Hey, Oscar, how do rapes help humanity grow?
Rapes don't help humanity grow at all.
Okay.
At all.
So I'm not sure what
now,
this analogy is trying to prove to us.
I think it's not rape. It's okay. When you guys were talking about the Old Testament, right? God, when he joins Israel, he doesn't come with the idea of building a religion. He's building a nation state for a kingdom that is semi-appropriate in this moment in humanity to bring forth his idea and kingdom forth, right? So in that kingdom, he establishes rules that are good of what to do and what not to do, right?
Wait, slavery good? Slavery good?
No, slavery, modern sense, the way we view it, no.
No. Just like slavery as in owning another. No, just be clear. By slavery, I mean owning another human being as property, passing them on to your kids as an inheritance, and being able to beat them so long as they don't die after 2 or 3 days. Good or bad?
that is bad, but that's also condemned. You're not supposed to beat them, right?
Incorrect.
Because there's a law that
Incorrect.
says, and no, I'll tell you the law. We can look it up. There's a law that says that if you beat a slave and you get his eye or his tooth, you are to set the slave free because of his eye
What if
or his
you
tooth.
beat?
That is not
What if you
death.
don't? What if you beat them
Yeah.
and you don't? If you don't punch out their eye or knock out their tooth, and you just beat them?
Okay, true. Good point. And hence what I stated earlier of God created a kingdom inside a culture that's already established, trying to better it to make something that is eventually
Wait,
good.
wouldn't it be better
Right? It's
just
not
wouldn't be
perfected.
wouldn't be well? It's supposed to be perfective. That's why it says in the law in the Psalms, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. But if God really wanted to
He hung up.
better a nation, oh, damn. He said, "Oh shit, they know the Bible. Let me head out."
Anyway, well, that's fine. That's our time. Dalton, it's been a fun stream with you today. I've noticed that it really is the first hour is like no calls, and then once the algorithm picks you up, then it's call. I'm gonna
Yeah.
send YouTube chat over to Takis. Y'all can go watch Takis. I'm gonna wrap. Me and Dalton are gonna wrap up. Guys, it's been fun. It's been real fun. Dalton, any final words for the people?
The only final word I got for you is to go and watch the Bible guy on YouTube because he needs the views. So
Shit. All right, go watch the Bible guy, guys. Bye. Thank you all for watching this video. If you don't know me, I'm Jovan Bradley. I'm a leftist content creator who does debates, political commentary, gaming, and more. If this is your first video, thanks for sticking to the end, and I hope you subscribe. Thank you to all my YouTube members. Your continued support helps me create as much as I can. Consider joining. A membership starts at $2.99 and gets you access to early video drops, our community Minecraft server, and our community Discord, where we host roundtable discussions, guest lectures from creators of all kinds, and our monthly book club. Shout out to my Tier 4 members who go above and beyond to help keep my content as accessible and regular as it currently is. They're on the screen now. Your support goes a long way in helping me to continue the fight for equity, justice, and education. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay educated.